to escape. It will take you home. When you're walking on the moon, walking on the moon, chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon.
When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance again, that I've never been, that I've never been, that I've never, ever, never, ever, 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 never been.
Walking on the moon.
One moment to escape. It will take you home. When you're walking on the moon,
Walking on the moon.
chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon.
When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance that I've never been, that I've never been, that I've never, ever, never, ever, 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 never been.
got me burning up.
You got me burning up.
Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
to look, too scared to miss it. The night and day, solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again.
Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will, though. Give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will, though. Give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. We can start again. We can start it.
She found a way into my heart. Oh, oh, she don't make up, no, she make art. And I need a way to treat it, cause I keep getting high off of her. Off of her. I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you. But somehow I keep running back to you. Back to you. Back to long nights can get me feeling lonely. Hey. And hearing music that can make me smile. But the way I feel with her cannot be explained. But one thing still remains on my mind. I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you. But somehow I keep running back to you. Back to you.
Control your destiny. Win and you're in. With the stakes this high, that is exactly where you want to find yourself. One team has been able to take down all challengers and do exactly that today. We'll find out if another will be able to do the same. But for all the other teams, every match counts. Every match affects another. So let's find out where destinies lie here at week 4 of the European Rivals Series. My name is Albert Haloran Haley III. It's my pleasure to be your host. On the desk with me, we have Corelli, Subi. Gentlemen, how you guys doing today?
I am ecstatic. We are week number 4 here in the European Rivals Series, and like you said, a lot of scenarios, a lot of playoff implications coming alive here. It's the most exciting time to watch the Rival Series.
Absolutely. This is the part of the season where it could potentially get juicy along the way, and I'm very excited because teams are starting to battle it out for those top 4 spots.
I like the word juicy. It definitely describes what we have on the line here. Let's take a look at the standings because there's going to be a lot of variance by the end of the day. Teams have 3 matches. This could definitely decide their entire season. Veloce eSports managed to be perfect so far. We will see them in one of those top 2 spots. ARG Vikings, they are contending head-to-head. And Complexity Gaming, I am so surprised to see them at 2-3 after the strong start that they had.
The 2 biggest takeaways here from the standings right now, before we get into any of the games, is Veloce sitting at that number 1 spot, of course, already getting to the promotion relegation tournament. And then that number 3 spot, Vikings, are the only team left in the European Rival Series that really do control their own destiny. They just need to win, and they can get into the promotion tournament. And even ARG doesn't have that.
Yeah, and you look at the bottom, Xenomoon 0-2. They could potentially also find their way in the top 2 if they win out, and the Vikings do lose. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen today in the Rival Series. Very exciting stuff. I can't wait to watch these games. I'm so ready for it.
A lot to be decided in the top 2 spots, but these teams are playing for a lot more than just that. A ton on the line. The top 2 spots will get a chance to go into that promotion tournament and maybe buy their way into the RLCS. The top 4 teams will return for the next season, but the bottom 4, none of these teams want to be in a position where they'll need to go through the play-ins and try to battle their way back in for next season.
You can see the prize pool on your screen there. First place, walking away with $13,000. And first and second place do get into the promotion tournament, like you said, with a chunk of change. But everyone's walking away with some money. But we say it every week. We're going to say it again. It's not about the money here. They're trying to get to the RLCS. That's the goal for all these teams in the Rival Series. And that's what they've had their sights set on for the last 5 weeks.
I thought you were going to say it was all about the fun that they're having. The money doesn't mean anything, right?
Maybe.
Fun is definitely important, but these teams definitely are playing for a lot. Today, the schedule is absolutely insane. We'll be starting things off right over Xenomoon. We haven't seen them since the very beginning of the season. Let's see how they're going to be faring. The second match of today for Europe might be the most spicy of the entire day. Vikings, ARG, that could very well decide who takes that top 2 spot.
Huge implications there for match number 2. We do get to see Baguette Squad once more. It's a team that's done okay here in the European Rival Series and have taken down a few teams in a surprise fashion. And Vikings, again, the only team that really does control their own destiny. We get 2 games on stream here.
Yeah, and you look at Veloce eSports and the Ridovers. The Ridovers have a ton to prove today. They have potential to put themselves in that top 4 spot. They do not want to get 4 losses put to their name.
And that would be extremely difficult. If they do manage to lose the first match of the day, which we'll be jumping into momentarily, going into Veloce eSports in that situation would be an absolute dagger. We talked about how if you have more than 3 losses in the course of a season, it's very hard to find reasonable success. So there's definitely a lot on the line for Ridovers. Let's see how they fare off going into the first match of the day, taking on Xenomoon. Again, we have not seen Xenomoon that much this entire season so far. I'm curious to see how they've been able to hold up.
Yeah, and for me, for Xenomoon, Monkey Moon and Noli, I know they're both rookies, but they need to step up massively. They're both shooting around 14% as far as shooting accuracy goes on the season. And on the flip side, you look at Bilbo, who is also a rookie, but he's on the Ridovers. He's carrying that team with almost 36% shooting accuracy.
And on the other side there for the Ridovers, a team that we expected a lot better coming out from. They're sitting at 1-3 now, and Bilbo's been amazing on offense. He's the goal leader at 14 with 42% of the team goals, but they have the worst goal differential in the league as a team. And so for Ridover, it's about building those leads, hanging on to them. And like Subi said, we haven't seen Xenomoon in a while, so Ridovers could come out and just win.
I think they very well could do that. Skyline has been one of the most impressive players to watch for me. On the other side, Xenomoon, there is definitely something to be said about being the newcomer team, but it's a double-edged sword because there's a ton of pressure involved also. In terms of overall predictions, though, Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I'm going to go with the experience. I'm going to go with the team that I feel like is the better team on paper. And I also feel like with Xenomoon not really playing in the rival series for the last few weeks, I'm going to give it to the Ride Overs just for that.
Yeah, you know, they sit there and they may have gotten cold without playing, you know, weeks 2, 3, 4. We're in 4. Never mind. This isn't scripted, I promise. But because of that, I just think the Ride Overs have more likelihood to win this match. They have more on the line, especially with those 3 losses to their name. So I've got Ride Overs in this one.
It might be because I'm a newcomer to Rival Series, but for me, I'm going to join the newcomers, Xenomoon. I do think that they're going to be able to have what it takes to take this series. I'm really hoping that in the time since we've last seen them, they have taken time to assess their opponents, see what the landscape is, make those adjustments, and be able to come in with a full head of steam. They'll need to do exactly that if they want to do it, but there's really only one way to find out. First match of the day for Europe is going to be Xenomoon taking on the Ride Overs. Gentlemen, let's jump in.
Yeah, let's jump into it indeed. And to Halorn's credit here, Xenomoon have only played 2 games, and one of them was against Veloce, so you can chalk up the loss there. And the other one was against Method, where they go to 5 games, and it was a tough series. Actually, that was the first series we saw from the European Rival Series in week number 1. So for Xenomoon, it's like, okay, I don't really know what this team is because they played the best team and of course they lost, but now they have to come out. They have to take on the Ride Overs, a team sitting at 1-3. A lot of experience on this team. Bilbo has absolutely been the player to watch on the Ride Overs, so we will find out how it all fares.
Yeah, and this is definitely one match where you could just toss it up into the wind and just guess on who's going to win. Either team is capable of taking the victory.
Well, only one can walk away with that victory. Noli's trying to make that happen right off the bat. Zensis has to give up the ball in the offensive corner. Monkey Moon trying to keep it on. Xenomoon was a team that we talked about having a lot of solo plays, and they worked out for him most of the time. But then the overcommits come through, and that's really when their defense started to break down.
Open net.
Zensis, though, talking about breaking down defense. Ride Overs nowhere to be found, and it's an open shot.
Yeah, Xenomoon just capitalizing on the mistake of positioning here from the Ride Overs. Good shot placement as well from Zensis there to put that on the right-hand side just to ensure no savior could be there and get that ball out of the net. And Xenomoon with the early lead.
So an open net out of nowhere. It felt like this game was just rolling along. But Ride Overs not protecting the net, trying to immediately respond back off the kickoff, giving up the first goal in the first 40 seconds. Here's Skyline now. To the side wall, trying to follow that one up, but not enough boost. Bilbo can't get the touch, or he does get it, but just over his own net.
Oh.
And this one goes by everyone on the Ride Overs, and Monkey Moon puts it away.
Hey, keep your eye on Zensis on this play. He's rotating through, and he disrupts both goalies sitting in the net so they cannot see that shot coming from Monkey Moon. Great heads-up play from Zensis. He's getting involved early in this game.
So a big kick in the teeth from Xenomoon in the first minute. Ride Overs shocked to go down by 2. Calyx with a big miss there as well. So things not looking strong here for the Ride Overs. A possible double touch, tries to drop it down, but can't find the angle. Still the pressure on. Zensis back out towards the mid. The shot comes down again. Skyline's got to make a save. And Xenomoon finally break down on offense, and the Ride Overs get out, but not for long.
Not for long at all. Look at Noli. Almost got that back into the corner. He was going to find Zensis streaking down center field, and a double tap coming out. But Zensis out of position, unable to do anything, and the Ride Overs get the clear to midfield.
And it feels like the Ride Overs just can't do anything right now. Everything's working for Xenomoon, and everyone getting involved off the kickoff, or excuse me, off the crossbar. As that one goes off again, Xenomoon putting on a display of power and confidence on the attacking side. Ride Overs do find their way down the field, but again, not for long. Xenomoon regain the possession, regain the control, maybe a second touch off the back wall. It's
Double
coming
commit.
down. Calyx got to make the save. He does, and Xenomoon are in complete control in the first half.
They absolutely are, and the Ride Overs need to work on their double commits right now. It's starting to plague them. About half a game to work with. They have time, but they need to start cleaning it up right away. Good drop down pass there from Bilbo over to Calyx. But Monkey Moon gets the read and puts that shot on target. 3-0 for Xenomoon.
And again, the defense gets caught out from the Ride Overs. It's a big challenge, a win for Xenomoon. In the follow-up, Monkey Moon's just faster, and Xenomoon find themselves in the lead by 3 now.
Tons of shots on the board right now for Xenomoon. 7. The Ride Overs with 1. They need to change it up, and they need to change it up right now.
just at the halfway point, and Ride-Overs are nowhere to be found. Oh, and now they're bumping into each other. Disorganization on the defensive side, miscommunications for the Ride-Overs, and Xenomoon is not letting up. This ball does get over Null as the Ride-Overs trying to find some sort of attack, but it's right back down into their faces. Xenomoon, relentless.
And right now, it just looks like the Ride-Overs are not hitting the ball with a purpose. A missed challenge from Skyline leads to another goal from Monkey Moon, and Xenomoon just stacking goals on top of each other.
That's a hat trick there for Monkey Moon, and everyone kind of moving to the right side of the field from Ride-Overs, but nobody getting the touch. And when the ball comes back towards the middle, Xenomoon's there to punish. Monkey Moon, for the third time in this game, finds the back of the net, and it's a 4-0 lead.
And he's 3 for 5 right now. And oh, a missed shot from Bilbo goes wide, but Skyline hitting that crossbar, and Calyx comes in for the cleanup. They get one, but they're now chasing 3.
So the Ride-Overs do get one back, and it's not for a good offensive try to go here from Xenomoon. And Calyx, great placement from him, but they've got their work cut out for them. Down by 3, a minute and 53 seconds left. Absolutely possible for the Ride-Overs. They just haven't shown it.
Yeah, they're starting to warm up, though, and if you are on Xenomoon, you got to go with those infield passes, just like we saw there. Back and forth they go, but Bilbo with a fantastic save to hold on to this 3-goal deficit.
So things calm down between these two teams here with a minute and a half left. Xenomoon feeling some pressure from the Ride-Overs. This ball does go flying to the back of the net once more. Zensis credits the goal here, his second one of the game, and it's another interesting goal coming out from Xenomoon where you're wondering, where's the Ride-Overs?
Yeah, Zensis with a great 50-50 challenge there. It just kisses off the ceiling, and I think the defender was not expecting that. Goes up in the air, has to try and get a Feels backflip to put himself back on the ground. Was unable to do so, and Xenomoon are looking fantastic in game number 1.
And for a team that we haven't seen for 3 weeks, this is exactly how you want to start out your first series. Coming out, scoring 5 against the Ride-Overs, and being in complete control of the game. Now with just over a minute left, the Ride-Overs trying to find something here. Here's a shot to the right side, turned away by Monkey Moon. Some control coming out from the Ride-Overs for the first time here in this game. Bilbo, a player that we talked about to look out for, but has been absolutely quiet here.
The Ride-Overs are just bumping each other all over the field in this first game. There's just tons of miscommunication going on. They really need to take this minute in between games to focus on limiting those mistakes.
30 seconds left. The Ride-Overs might just be thinking about game number 2 at this point. Here's a long shot coming out. It's going to be off the post there for Skyline. Can't find the target, but might have been all for nothing here as time is ticking down. And Xenomoon with a comfortable lead that they have built, coming out with the speed, coming out with the control, the offense, sticking it right in the face of Ride-Overs, and they just had nothing to say about it. A great game number 1 from Xenomoon. But remember, a best of 5 coming out between these two teams. Still a lot to be written here as Xenomoon take game number 1.
Yeah, and Xenomoon didn't really have to face any offense from the Ride-Overs in this first game. Only 6 shots on the board for the Ride-Overs, 12 for Xenomoon. Powerhouse offense that they brought in game 1, all due to the fact of Monkey Moon, and he upped that shooting percentage. He came into this game 13.3 this game, shooting 50%. If he can continue to do that, they're going to be unstoppable.
Well, and we said it earlier on in this game, this is how Xenomoon wanted to come out here. You don't be on stream for 3 weeks. You haven't even played in the rival series for 3 weeks. You have to play Ride-Overs, who are no slouch of a team. Sure, you look at their record 1-3 and you go, I don't know about Ride-Overs, but they're an absolutely strong team. They have great players. And so for Xenomoon to come out and really take it to him here with a 5-1 victory, that makes a statement for this series. And it's really on the Ride-Overs to make the change now, because that was not a good showing. Open nets, bumping into each other, and just strange shots dropping for Xenomoon. The Ride-Overs have a lot to think about here in this intermission.
Yeah, the rotations, the positioning, you called out the double commits, the bumps. There's just a lot of mistakes. And game 2 realistically can't go any worse for them. They can only go up from here. So, hey, you've hit rock bottom. There's only up in game 2. They have a ton, though, that they need to fix and not a lot of time to work with, because the Xenomoon squad is absolutely looking to make us look like fools.
Yeah, and so far, so good for them. You and I both did pick the Ride Overs, and so we're looking for them to wake back up here in game number 2. Xenomoon, though, trying to keep the foot on their throats, not giving up here. Here's Monkey Moon right in front of his own net. Ride Overs already starting off better here with a little bit of some pressure. This one's going to come across the box. Snolly's able to clear that one out.
Yeah, a little dangerous, though. That third man pushed up a little too far. Those long clears are going to start going over their heads, and if they continue to push up, look for some open net goals.
This ball just bouncing in the midfield, picked up by Calix.
Uh-oh.
And a touch is on the goal line, bouncing in front of it. Xenomoon panicking as that lobbed ball towards the net threw everyone off, but they do get out. It only takes it down the field, but given up to Bilbo. Looking for him to come alive here as a shot. Zensis turns that one away easily. This ball passed back from Calix. It's like Skyline to collect here as everyone getting involved now. The passing play comes through. It's great to get out, but the shot easily blocked.
There we go. I want to see a little more tenacity from the Ride Overs. I like that demo to open things up. Just a little bit more of that.
Oh,
And
the
they're
pass.
That's beautiful, but no one there to clean it up, and Skyline denies Monkey Moon.
Great vision coming out from Xenomoon there, finding each other across the box to the corner, forcing that tough shot to come out and the defense to respect it. Just over a minute into this game, Xenomoon not finding the back of the net a few times like they did in game number 1. Ride Overs starting off a little bit better here with a little bit more control. Another shot comes out from Monkey Moon. Ride Overs now on the attack. Bilbo stopped at the midfield. Here's Noel. He's got support at the top of the box. The shot comes through, but blocked away.
Double commit, open net. They've got numbers. Bilbo just has to put it on target, but passes it to Calix, and Calix puts that left side. Great shot placement.
And that is a great pass coming out from Bilbo to recognize that the shot was going to be better off with Calix. He could get that power, and he finds the corner of the net. This is all good from Bilbo. The pass coming out, and Ride Overs take the lead.
Yeah, smart play from him. He couldn't quite get the power on it, so decides to pass it down to a teammate who can get a good shot on target. Love the decision-making we just saw.
So the Ride Overs take the lead for the first time, and they seem to be more confident and more in control here in game number 2. Xenomoon have had opportunity, though. And here's another one. Noel. Oh, almost getting a second touch on target, but it's turned away by Bilbo. Monkey Moon trying to pass this one across, but it's a little bit too far and out of reach. Bilbo to clear it away. Now onto the attack. The Ride Overs trying to build their lead. Calix into the corner. Looking for one more. He might get it here, but he can't drop it down. It's going to go off the crossbar. Xenomoon there to collect.
Yeah, it just seems like once that third man rotates in for the Ride Overs, the 1 and 2 have already gone all the way back to the blue zone to grab boost. Just taking them a while to reposition on offense and continue with their assault.
And another lateral pass coming out from the Ride Overs. Calix getting the power on the shots. And that vision is so important. The Ride Overs are showing a great way on how to find your teammates at the top of the box, and this pressure coming out from the Ride Overs is slow as methodical, and Xenomoon's just waiting for that shot to come through. Now back to the other side, almost getting the second touch. 2 go now for Xenomoon, and players are racing down the field. It's Skyline who finds the back of the net on the counterattack, and the Ride Overs up by 2.
But look at the shot placement here from Skyline. Sees that he has the angle on it, puts it close post, nice and hard, 116 kilometers per hour. And no way the defense is going to catch up to that. A 2-goal lead for the Ride Overs.
So the Ride Overs coming alive here in game number 2. The passing, finding each other. The goals, more importantly, finding the back of the net. Here's Calix, far side. Right off the crossbar. Xenomoon haven't really shown too much offense here. Here's a shot just over the net.
That's a great touch from Skyline, going opposite corner, throwing the whole offense off from Xenomoon. Good placement. And look at the touch from Calix. Bilbo coming in, trying to put a shot on target. No boost in the tank, though. Easily turned aside from Noli.
Ride Overs still not giving up. Another pass, another shot, and another goal for Ride Overs. Bilbo now with his first one in game 2.
Oh my goodness, look at the pass from Calix. Goes like between the legs of the defender Noli, and Bilbo just puts that up and above the defender Zenzis. 3-0 for the Ride Overs. My, oh my. 11 shots on board. They have completely turned around since game number 1.
I think it's extremely important to point out the passing plays that we're seeing coming out from the Right Overs. These lateral passes hit with pace across the box directly to a player to set them up with the power and the shot to find the goal. And there's a weak one here from Skyline as soon as we talk about it. But the Right Overs are putting on a clinic on how to find each other on offense.
Oh, almost had the challenge there, but good defense. But Skyline's going to have an opportunity. Didn't have the boost, so can't go for that ceiling shot. Leaves it up for Bilbo and a triple commit. Yeah, but look at Zenzis. Finds a hole in the defense, pokes it all the way downfield. Good heads-up play from him.
And it really is the saving grace there for Xenomoon. We've seen a few double commits. We've criticized them in weeks past. We've seen a triple commit, but they're so fast as players to recover and get back into the game that a lot of times they don't get punished. With less than 30 seconds left, it has been Right Overs who have been doing the punishing so far. Noel and Monkey Moon trying to find this one out of their own end. This one's going to go off the back wall. Skyline's going to reverse into it and put it away. A 4-goal lead with 15 seconds left, and Right Overs look comfortable.
Yeah, mistakes are going to happen. That's all that happens with Noli there. Jumps off the walls. The gravity pulls him down to the ground. Skyline sees that, puts an easy shot on target to get his second of this game and second of the series.
Xenomoon comes out in game number 1 and beats Right Overs by 4. Now Right Overs coming out in game 2. And have a 4-goal lead with 10 seconds left, looking to make it 5, just to one-up Xenomoon from game 1. As Monkey Moon throws this one downfield, it will be the Right Overs who take game number 2. This one does go in for Monkey Moon, as I think the Right Overs just kind of let this one go, but regardless, game 2 goes in favor of the Right Overs.
Man, they completely turned around from game 1 like we were talking about.
And I think that it is important to really point out, Right Overs definitely got back into this game. They woke up, and it wasn't because Xenomoon didn't play well. It was because Right Overs were outplaying them. The passing downfield, the control on offense, to have the control not only in the midfield, but that final third and the shots coming through. You can see it on your screen. Quite a few shots coming out from Right Overs and not very many from Xenomoon. It feels like Right Overs now might have that momentum going into the last part of the series.
Yeah, tons of shots on board and a ton of infield passes. I love those. It makes you get on your edge of your seat because you can see a shot coming, and it just seemed like Xenomoon could not defend against them. I love the change of pace. I love the change of play. And more importantly, we saw almost no double commits from the Right Overs in this game. They cleaned things up perfectly. They worked on their communication. No team bumps. It looked like a solo standard game in game 1. And in game 2, it looked like a team of grand champs.
I think that's actually a very fair way to put it, is they didn't look very organized in game number 1, but the organization, they cut the crap here in game 2, and they figured it out. They woke up and they started to find each other downfield, and I think that's very important, especially against a team like Xenomoon, who does pull off a lot of solo plays, who does double commit, who does triple commit. A well-organized team like the Right Overs can punish a team like Xenomoon. I think game number 2 is exactly that.
And very important that all 3 members of the Right Overs got involved in game number 2. All 3 had a goal. All 3 are getting assists in both series, so good team play from them. Xenomoon has their work cut out for them now in game number 3.
Things get kicked off here. It's Zenzis on the ball first. He's got a one-on-one in front of Skyline, and he just lobs it to him, but the pass comes out. Skyline able to get there, and an opportunity ruined there for Xenomoon. Here's Noel dropping this one down to his teammate.
Look at that. Oh.
First 30 seconds. The Right Overs trying to find that first goal. It's Calix downfield. 2 from Xenomoon chasing. Now Zenzis met by Skyline. The Right Overs trying to find each other once more in that final third. Here's Calix maybe doing this one by himself. He tries to go under 1. Can't do so. Skyline to clean it up.
Oh, look at that pass.
Calix is still there. It drops down. But Xenomoon able to clear that one out. Now downfield. A scary situation here as nobody's on the ball. Skyline forced to go into the challenge. Monkey Moon's trying to turn around on this one. It's Bilbo getting involved.
Yeah, so far both teams doing a great job of passing the ball, but the defense on point for the Right Overs right now, searing every shot that's coming out from Xenomoon.
Xenomoon. A pass across. Bilbo's there. Makes the save. Monkey Moon now. Still an opportunity here for Xenomoon as Right Overs not really getting a handle on this ball. Full boost now for Noel. Trying to find the back wall.
No boost for Right Overs.
And again, 2 go for Xenomoon, but it might work out here. Skyline's just hanging to get to that one. Here's Noli once more. This ball passed down. Right overs bending and not breaking here on defense, but they haven't found a way out. They finally do. Oh, and they do get the dunk on the initial clear, but Xenomoon puts them right back into their place.
Yeah, and I love the fast passes we're seeing from Xenomoon right now. They're very quick upfield, and there's someone waiting there to be able to hit that ball into the offensive zone. Look at the touch from Noli, but no one in midfield able to get that pass to the front of the box, and a good push downfield from the Right Overs.
Here's Calix. Right overs now, their chance to strike on offense. They've been on defense for most of this game so far. And immediately back the other way. Zensis tries to get the second touch. Can't get it. Dangerous ball comes across the box. Bilbo forced to go up. Now Skyline beats out the first defender, throws it downfield. Bilbo thought about going, couldn't go, but it comes right back to Skyline. A weak shot though. And Monkey Moon clears that one away. Now Zensis. What can Xenomoon do? They've been on offense, but they haven't found the target. Here's Monkey Moon again. Goes up and over the net, a follow-up's there. And now a couple shots come out, and it just squeaks by the defenders on the near post, and Noli gets the first goal for Xenomoon.
And I love the shot placement here from Noli. Nice and hard, low and fast. Look at that. Calix unable to save that, and Xenomoon with the first goal in game number 3. Definitely a defensively minded game from both teams. Just a total of 5 shots to 2.
You feel like it was a matter of time before Xenomoon was gonna find the mark here. Right overs were giving them a lot of space, and they really just couldn't get a handle on the ball. And here they are on offense. A tough save from Zensis as he came from above. And he does make it and the clear. Great passing coming out from Xenomoon, but with no boost, slows down the play for Zensis. And the right overs regain control, trying to respond back after giving the first goal up here in game 3. Long clears coming out from Xenomoon is making it tough for the right overs to get involved. Here's Bilbo.
Great read from Noli there, seeing Bilbo up, took the angle of approach to attack that, and Monkey Moon saves that flip for the last second to get that save and hold on to this 1-0 lead.
And here comes Xenomoon once more, trying to build on that lead. And the clear is only for a second as the right over is back into their own corner. Bilbo, past one. He's got support in Skyline. Uh-oh. Bilbo still on the ball, still making defenders think. That one almost rolled out to Calix. It comes off of Monkey Moon. And Xenomoon gets out now with just over a minute left. Can Xenomoon build the lead, or do right overs have something left in game 3 here? Zensis trying to put it away, back off the back wall. It's gonna drop down, but nobody there from Xenomoon. Right overs get away with it.
Yeah, Noli was expecting the touch from Skyline, but right now, Xenomoon playing some unorthodox Rocket League. We're seeing a lot of breaks in rotation. Very hard to read if you're on the right overs, but you gotta act fast as time is ticking away. No one in net. Calix has to put it on target, and
Skyline?
swing and a miss. Skyline
he got it!
Finishes the ball off the crossbar. Tie ball game.
It was just bouncing at the top of the box, and Skyline really didn't make good connection here, but it comes off the crossbar and goes off his car and into the back of the net. Right overs tie up the game with 37 seconds left.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than skilled. And right there, luck was in his favor.
So, 30 seconds left. Right overs do make a heroic response here as Xenomoon finally breaks on defense. 2 go from the right overs here, as it's just Skyline back.
Oh, Demo.
Does well to slow down the play, make it tough for Monkey Moon to read, but he still picks up the ball into the corner. And a lot of these clears from the right overs are going straight into the lap of Xenomoon players sitting at midfield waiting for the weak clears to come through, but with 5 seconds left, we may see overtime here in game 3. One last-ditch effort here from Xenomoon. Zensis is up. He doesn't make a connection. It came down, but no one was there, and we got overtime.
Oh, he was almost in the right position to get underneath that ball and just stop it in midair to where it could have hung for a teammate. But we have our first overtime of the day, 1-1. Both teams tightening things up on the field.
Skyline to the midfield. Can't get the second touch, but it was enough to throw everyone off. Calix takes a shot immediately on the first touch. It comes off the post, and it goes in for Calix. Miscommunication for Xenomoon, and right overs take game 3.
Calix sees his opportunity, and he strikes. Zensis doesn't get the touch on the ball that throws Noli off, and Calix sees an open net, and all it took was 22 seconds, and right overs have the victory.
So the right overs take a 2-1 lead in the series, a 2-1 lead here in Game 3. And they're looking poised to take their second series here in the European Rival Series. But Xenomoon, it feels like while they had a lot of pressure in the initial stages here in Game 3, that they couldn't put away their chances when they arose. It felt like they had a lot of shots. They had a lot of pressure, and they were really breaking down the defense for Ridovers. But Ridovers just were able to save it at the last second, get the clear when they needed to, and give credit to Xenomoon. They did a great job of controlling the game. I pointed it out in the latter stages, but they were doing it all game. Was these clears coming out from Ridovers were just landing in the lap of Xenomoon. They're just saying, okay, thank you, we'll take this, and we'll regroup, and we'll go back down the field. And Ridovers just could never break out.
And more importantly, the Ridovers didn't panic. There was no panic. They waited until it took them all the way until 37 seconds left in the game to get that goal to tie this game up. And there was no sense of urgency. It's just, okay, we're just playing Rocket League. We're calm, cool, collected. We're going to keep going. And then the mistakes came out from Xenomoon. That's their only downfall, were the simple, easy mistakes. You saw it there in the overtime, a whiff, a misplay. If you're going to do that, you're going to get beat every time. You have to play perfect Rocket League for 5 minutes, and then if you're in overtime, you better keep playing perfect Rocket League.
It really was the big mistake, the biggest mistake that Xenomoon made all game, and it was that first goal that the Ridovers scored from Skyline that let the Ridovers back into the game. And we're off into Game 4. Ridovers looking to close out this series. Xenomoon trying to win their first series here in the European Rival Series. Initial seconds go in favor here of actually Xenomoon as a first-time shot comes out from Monkey Moon. The follow-up from Zensis saved by Skyline. This ball cleared downfield from Calix. Skyline still in pursuit. This one's going to find the back wall, but Noli's there to meet it. Thrown downfield. Xenomoon looking to strike early and strike often as they had opportunity in the previous game. Skyline to nobody on his team. Xenomoon there to collect it. Calix now, patience into his own corner, but immediately met by a charging player from Xenomoon. Bilbo atop his own goal. Noli still trying to get control, so Xenomoon kind of poking and prodding at the Ridovers defense, but nothing giving it up yet. Here's a dangerous ball off the back wall. Noli can't get the second touch down. Calix there to push it away.
Yeah, Xenomoon just looking for a chink in the armor from the Ridovers right now, but so far, great defense coming out, but they just can't seem to get out of their own zone, and there it is, a great touch from Bilbo, working the corners, coming down, but Zensis playing that back wall defense, able to put that ball back towards midfield.
Here comes Monkey Moon, not a lot of boost to work with, really just enough to get that touch. Now Noli, Zensis lying in wait. This ball cleared away by the Ridovers. So space for both teams here. No one's able to strike yet. Noli, this one just goes right past him. Monkey Moon trying to get a hold of this ball, not with a lot of boost, looking for the pass across, but no one's there. Zensis playing back a little bit here for Xenomoon, and while the ball has spent a lot of time on the Ridover side, you really never feel like there are any dangerous positions here from Xenomoon. Not a lot of shots coming out from that are on target. Here's Calix now, trying to win a couple challenges in the midfield. Eventually loses one. Skyline loses one in his own corner. Monkey Moon's forced to retreat now.
And for me, if Xenomoon is going to win this game, they're going to need to have Noli step up. And look at the bump from Bilbo. Unfortunately, no one else there from the Ridovers, but I love the grit we're seeing from the Ridovers in game number 4.
And it feels like if one of these teams are going to give up a goal, it's going to come off of a bump or a demolition, as both defenses have been rock solid. But a shot comes out for the back post. A pinch comes through off the Xenomoon post. That's a nice way to get out of your own end.
Calculated.
And a dangerous shot turns into a counterattack as it's finally broken up there by the Ridovers. And again, kind of a stalemate here, but the passing coming through. Zensis has a shot, but Calix once again there to save the day. Monkey Moon. The pass again across, but that one's just a little bit behind the mark.
The Ridovers need to play a little more aggressive because Xenomoon is starting to feel really comfortable in the offensive zone. We're seeing some beautiful lateral passing plays open up, and if they can continue to hit those, they're going to eventually find their mark of the goal.
Here's Skyline from his own corner. Zensis now. A 0-0 game still between these two teams, and both of them have shown stellar defense and not giving anything up. A couple close calls for both sides, but still a tie game. This one lobbed at the net, gets 2 to go from the right over. Zensis now has a little bit to work with, but goes up the back wall looking for a bump in the net. Doesn't connect, and no one from Xenomoon's up. So a conservative effort on offense right now from Xenomoon. We mentioned it earlier on here in this game. It seems like they're just kind of poking at the beast right now, waiting for that mistake to come through, and that's when they strike. A weak shot comes out from Zensis, and the right over still on defense, but still look comfortable.
Nice touch from Skyline, gets the follow-up, trying to go under Zensis, but Calix takes over, puts the shot on, and shot after shot coming out from the right overs. They need no time to continue the offensive assault.
Here's Noli trying to make something happen. We're almost at full time here, and neither team have found the target yet. Now Noli has a great chance here to top shelf off the crossbar, and this might be the time for Xenomoon to strike. The follow-up again off the top of the net, and can't find it. The right overs, the defense still there. 20 seconds left now. Do the right overs strike? That was a free shot for Skyline, just couldn't put it on target.
Xenomoon got away with one there. 15 seconds to go, and so far, seems like the right over is just counting on the inaccuracy from Xenomoon right now. They haven't been able to find the target, and Noli misses the ball entirely there. Time ticks down, 3 seconds to go. Bilbo puts the shot downfield, and back towards midfield we go into overtime.
A good kill there from the right overs as that ball comes back to their own end. A 0-0 overtime. 1 goal is going to separate these two teams in game 4. Monkey Moon trying to make the difference here for his team. And down the field, this shot just wide. The follow-up's there, but he can't connect. The save comes out from Skyline in the first 15 seconds. Xenomoon has a great opportunity, but here comes the right overs. Pressing downfield. Bilbo to find this one off the top of the ceiling and comes down, but no one there for the right overs to follow up. Now Skyline trying to find this one off the back wall. Bilbo to Calix. Calix is there. Can he drop it down? No. Everyone from Xenomoon tracking this ball from left to right. Now Monkey Moon onto the counter-attack. Zensis trying to follow this one up. He was met by Skyline. Has slowed him down a little bit. A shot comes by, but it's wide. Both teams had opportunity here in the first minute of overtime.
And every time the ball goes into Xenomoon's zone, you can just see them starting to bite their nails. They start to press forward a little more. Double commits start coming out a little bit. They know how much is riding on this game. If they lose, they're going to 0-3.
This ball lobbed toward the right over net. It's something that Xenomoon has done all game. They haven't been able to capitalize it yet.
Please do it.
Here's Noel, drops it down. The follow-up's there, but it's just over the net, looking for one more. Zensis opts not to go. Probably the smart decision there. Xenomoon trying to regroup, and the right overs do the same.
That was a great pass from Noli. He had the right idea, but unfortunately Monkey Moon unable to get the touch. But look at Noli just getting touch after touch all over the place right now. You can tell he wants this so bad, and just a little bit too far forward to be a pass, but no way.
That ball just thrown downfield. Calix looked like he had it. He went up with the confidence like he did. Now Bilbo giving up to Noli. Thrown downfield. Calix is there once more, but it's given back. No support here for Noli. Skyline not able to do much with that ball. Here comes Xenomoon. An opportunity here. 2 minutes into overtime in game 4. 2 go for Xenomoon here. But of course not punished, as they do a great job of getting back into the play, or at least slowing it down for right overs to break out. Noli looking for someone downfield. Hit a little bit too high off the ceiling. Zensis now. This ball given away. Calix, he's got Skyline. Skyline was there, thrown to their offensive corner.
That's not a good touch at all. Let's see if Bilbo can do anything with it.
Monkey Moon. It's popped up to Calix. You can see the stance that Right Overs is taking right now is 2 players way back towards the midfield and just hoping this ball pops out. The opportunity arises, and Calix is there to strike, and the Right Overs take it in 4 games.
And the Right Overs just lull Xenomoon to sleep in the corner, just continually battering the right-hand side until the defense breaks down. And in comes Calix. 2 minutes, 43 seconds into overtime, and they take the series.
So the Right Overs move to 2-3 with this win. Xenomoon now moved to 0-3. It was the first time that we saw Xenomoon in 3 weeks, and I have to say there were some good things, there were some bad things, and quite honestly, it felt like they could have won this series. Ridovers did not come out very well, and it felt like in the last 2 games, Xenomoon probably should have won with the amount of pressure that they had.
Yeah, outside of game 2, it felt like this was Xenomoon's series. It felt like they were playing perfect Rocket League. They were playing to their game plan. They knew what the Ridovers were trying to do, and they were beating them to the ball. But the mistakes are what plagued Xenomoon in this matchup.
So that one's in the books. Ridovers taking it in 4 games. We have more European rival series coming up. It's Vikings taking on ARG. It's going to be a huge game. A lot of implications here for the European rival series. You don't want to miss it.
I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you. But somehow I keep running back to you. Back to you.
Welcome back to European Rival Series. In a true showing of grit and determination, we do see the Right-Overs manage to take down Xenamoon after losing game number 1, 5-1, after such a dominant performance. It takes a lot to be, to go into game 2. It's like, all right, guys, let's just reset, make those adjustments. We can still take this series. What do you think were some of the biggest changes that Right-Overs made?
Well, honestly, they played Rocket League. Game 1, I don't know what they were doing. They were playing something else, football, basketball. I don't know what they were playing, maybe hoops mode, but they played Rocket League in game number 2, game number 3, game number 4. They played as a team. They fixed the communication errors. Game 1 was just chaos. There was so much sporadic play, and they just cleaned it up.
No, I feel like the Right-Overs were just asleep. I mean, I don't know if they just didn't wake up yet. And Xenamoon came out, and I said it in the game. They really kicked him in the teeth. And then the Right-Overs like, okay, hold on a second. We got to play here. We got to play a couple games of Rocket League, and they slowly got into it. It really wasn't a monster win for them over and over and over again, but they slowly, methodically broke down Xenamoon, and they come out with a win.
5 replays is definitely going to be able to wake you up going into the rest of the series. Right-Overs do take that one. They have quite the tall order in terms of taking on Veloci eSports at the 3rd match, but the 2nd match of today, ARG Vikings. I've been so excited for this. I looked at the schedule. I looked at the standings. I was like, 2nd place is probably going to be determined in this exact matchup.
This match is humongous if you're a fan of the European Rival Series, and we'll talk about Vikings here. They're the only team that controls their own destiny at this point, meaning that they just need to win, and they'll be into the top 2. They don't need anyone else to lose. They don't need any crazy tiebreakers. They just need to win.
Win and in. But if you're on the side of ARG, you take down the Vikings, and you win in your off-stream matchup, you pretty much clinch top 2.
There are a lot of really interesting implications here, because if ARG is able to take down the Vikings loses another match, then ARG does in fact have the 2nd spot. So the pressure, to say that it's on would be quite the understatement. But in terms of predictions, 2 dominant teams, it's really hard to guess who is going to come out on top, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys anyway.
I'm going with the experience. I'm going with the team that only has 1 loss right now. I'm going with Vikings. I think that this is going to be a match that goes to 4 or 5 games. I absolutely think ARG can come out and win, but I think that Vikings, when it's on the line, they're going to come out and win.
So winning in is your motto of the day. And if you know me, if you watched any Rival Series previously, I love an underdog. It's one of my favorite storylines that there is. An ARG, biggest underdogs coming into this matchup, rookies on the team. You got a player who played for the Golden Hawks of GCR, and for me, this one is all on the line for them. They just have to win, and you can find yourself in the promotion tournament. They're so hyped for this matchup. I have them in this game, but I agree. I think it's going to be 5 games.
In terms of overall skill, I do think it's overall a flip of the coin, but I'm going to go for the Vikings just because I would love to see that redemption concept of them. They come in with a new name, they have this new swagger, and it's like, okay, we haven't seen them that much going as far into the season so far. This would be an amazing breakout moment for them to say, like, hey, we are an RLCS team. We can still secure these top 2 spots. They have the destiny to be able to do exactly that. Let's see if they're able to, though. ARG taking on the Vikings. Let's get in.
Let's get into this one. And I am super excited to be a part of a match that has this type of implication, because it does mean that both of our teams are just going to be at each other's throat the entire time. And we're about to find out, a team that might be our possible top 2 contender now with Veloce. And Veloce is just kind of sitting up there in their chair watching and laughing at everyone right now, while everyone else has to go through the brawl and duke it out here. It's Vikings and ARG in game number 1.
That's where you're wrong. Veloce's sitting up there on the throne, looking down among the peasants right now. And Corelli, I can't wait to prove you wrong when ARG wins this, and I turn out to be 2 for 2 on the day.
Well, it would be a first for you, Subi. And we'll find out.
He's got jokes.
If Vikings can still stay with just 1 loss, or if ARG can put themselves to 4 wins. And how about GCR? That's how you start it off. And ARG on the board.
What just happened right now? He goes up, the ball goes off the ceiling, he reads it somehow and gets the double tap into the upper 90. GCR opening this game up with a highlight reel clip.
GCR, how do you like that? Getting the 2nd touch and putting it away. ARG on the board first, starting off with a bang here. Vikings set to respond now. Marked by 8. He's been a stellar player for ARG. 77% of the goal participation coming in to this week. Has been a part of the offense for ARG quite a bit. Mummy Snow not able to get the touch there. Vikings moving down the field, finding themselves in the final third, trying to break down this defense here of ARG. This ball given up by Mark by 8 into his own corner. Vikings still trying to find their way out of the corner. ARG doing a good job of, if they're going to have them there, keep them in the corner. ClayX now, no support from his team, just trying to volley this one back towards the Viking net, but it's cleared downfield. Mark by 8. Now on the counter, he beats 2, trying to go for a third. It does come across, but with too much power. And ClayX forced to go up just to slow down the play. And here comes the Vikings.
And for me, Corelli, for the Vikings to be successful in this matchup and take this series, great defense from GCR. But back to my point, for the Vikings to be successful, I'm going to be looking at Maestro a ton. He does have that world champ tag underneath his name. He's been through a ton. He knows what pressure is like, and the Vikings have a ton of pressure on them right now to win this game, to put themselves in that top 2 spot.
And it's a team that's hungry to be back into the RLCS. GCR trying to make that tougher for him. Here's Mark by 8. He does get a lovely touch. It's Pondex who's forced to make a good save. ARG still sitting on their 1-goal lead. Vikings haven't really shown too much offense. They've been down the field, but they keep going to this left side corner, and ARG just meets them every single time and slows down the attack. Mummy Snow trying to switch things up. Maestro's there, can't get the touch.
Just barely missed. I think he got just a little bit of 2 hairs and some air on that ball.
Just halfway through this game, Mummy Snow, another missed touch. Now everyone's missing. Bondex to the corner. Trying to set something up. Mummy Snow's there. This one cleared across, though, from GCR. And straight into Maestro. Wins a nice challenge. Wards off Mummy Snow, looking for the pass now. He does pop it up. Mark by 8's there. Trying to carry it over into the corner, make it tough. It rolls out. ClayX trying to put the shot on target. The follow-up, can Mark get it? No, he can't. Stopped by Vikings on the goal line there. And the Vikings get away with it. As ARG were just poised to double their lead.
Oh, and a double touch. Really odd from Mummy Snow. Gets that ball all the way downfield, but you are absolutely right, Corelli. Look, another ball into the corner, but look at the bump from Mummy Snow. Sends Mark by 8 to the moon. Gonna take him a while to get back on defense.
That's a great pass, but Mummy Snow side flipping on that one, still gets to the ball. Another backflip comes out. Tough to stay with it. Vikings still scoreless. 1.5 minutes left. ClayX, no boost. Goes past 1, but it's straight to Maestro. Here's Mark by 8. Opts to go off the ceiling. ClayX was looking for the bump, but not able to get there. This one's coming down. You can see GCR in the backfield waiting, along with ClayX. Didn't want to commit on this play, especially with a 1-goal lead. Not to overcommit when time's ticking down.
Yeah, but for ARG, if they can continue to show that they're trying to put a demo on goalies, you're going to see that third man back pull back into net a little more to try and tuck into that corner to prevent those demos from coming out, and it's going to throw some mispositioning on the field.
ARG, this ball over to GCR. He's just got Pondex in the net, tries to go to the right side, but it's not on target. Pondex does clear this one out. Now Mummy Snow trying to make the difference here with 40 seconds left, tries to dribble across. Read perfectly by Mark. Pondex. 30 seconds left for Vikings.
Good touch.
And ARG doing a great job of shutting down every single attack. This one's gonna go high over the net. ARG steals away some boost. A long clear comes out from Mummy Snow, but only for a second. Mummy Snow actually gets the demo, but a big miss comes out from Pondex, still in the possession of Vikings. Maestro tries to pick it up, can't get a hold of it quick enough, and now up the wall. Might not have too much to work with. 10 seconds left, goes for the shot. Saved away by Mark by 8. Mummy Snow, can they tie it up here? 3 seconds left, and it's in the hands of ARG. This one cleared to the far side. Pondex can't get the touch. Mummy Snow trying to keep it up. Maestro goes up for a backflip, can't get it either, and ARG squeak out a 1-goal lead off of GCR's fantastic start.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic start. That was one of the prettiest goals that I've seen all season long, GCR just putting his mechanical skills on display, and ARG shut down the Vikings, but honestly, it didn't look that difficult. The Vikings, all they brought to the field was corner play in the offensive zone, led to only 3 shots on target. They need to try and open up with the infield passing plays, because I think I saw one, and it was in the last 30 seconds maybe, and it got turned away as well.
So here's what I saw from the Vikings, and it felt like that they did a good job of staying with the pace of the game. They were being outpaced by ARG, which some teams, that happens. They didn't lose a lot of control in this game. Some teams against ARG, that happens. But for Vikings, it felt like when they had possession, they threw it into the corner a lot, or they dribbled it into the corner, and then they just ran out of ideas. They had nowhere to go. And we could probably credit the ARG defense for forcing that to happen for Vikings. But it just felt like the attack would fizzle out once they got downfield, and there was really no middle field control coming out, in between the box there from the Vikings. We didn't really see that. It was just ARG forcing the ball, corralling it into the corner, and then saying, hey, you got to beat us through the corner and then find the angle, and it just never happened for Vikings.
Well, right now, ARG is playing their defenders where there's one in net, one up on the wall, and then they kind of have like a free roamer in the midfield. If you can get those infield passing plays to pull him out of the play, you've got 2 players in net, and now you've opened up possibilities. You've taken one out of the equation, but the Vikings are down in the series, and like we were talking about earlier, ARG knows how much is on the line.
Game 2, and ARG, step 1 complete. They win the first game. Again, a lot of implications here for top 2 between these 2 teams. And facing each other here in the second game of the European Rival Series in Week 4 sets up for a spicy storyline in the end. Here's Mummy Snow. This ball just bouncing in the ARG side. Maestro giving way. This one's going to go over his head, and it goes in for mark by 8. No support there from the Vikings. In the first 30 seconds, ARG's in it.
And look at the speed from mark by 8. Uses the side wall as an extra player to pass the ball to himself, and good precision to put the shot on target. And again, ARG with the early lead.
And it looks similar to our previous game where it felt like Right Overs were giving up a lot of space there, and they thought maybe they had an extra defender back. But this ball just goes into the net. And ARG score another early goal here. Vikings still scoreless. Here's Mummy Snow. Now Pondex. Vikings trying to put something together. The pass back to Maestro's weak. Marked by 8. He's there. And so is ARG. GCR to his offensive corner. Trying to follow up with no boost. It is given to him. But it is back towards Pondex and Mummy Snow, who both go on this play. Now everyone getting involved from Vikings. Mummy Snow forced to go up again. He's got the boost to do so, but he sees Maestro, so he gets called off. And a miscommunication. ARG comes through and takes the ball away.
Yeah, I like the idea from Maestro. I just don't think he was able to get enough speed to get back to that ball. Came off the ceiling, so he still might have had his flip. He thought he might have been able to do a little more with that ball, but unfortunately does not. And GCR goes off the ceiling again. He's looking to do the same thing as game number 1, but the defense says not this time.
Here's ClayX, doesn't get the touch. It would have set up Mark or GCR perfectly there. Vikings able to break out. Here's Maestro. Immediately met by an ARG defender. A shot, it's weak, turned away by GCR. Pondex still trying to keep this attack on, but ARG are just meeting Vikings every time they find the ball. Doing such a good job of shutting down the passing, shutting down the shots, and if they do come, they're always weak.
ARG doing a great job of disrupting the flow of the Vikings right now. The positioning just a little off, so they're able to get to the ball a split second early to continue to win these 50-50s. Even that one just landed neutral, but the Vikings capitalize and push this ball into the offensive zone, looking to increase their shots as they're stuck at 1 so far in game number 2.
Mummy Snow, a free ball, and it goes off the ceiling. It was tough to control either way, but no one from ARG was up for it. Here's Pondex now. Again, trying to get control, but off the ceiling once more. Vikings. Maybe an opportunity formulating here. This one off the back wall. No follow-up from Vikings, cleared away by ARG. Another weak shot comes through. Maestro, there's the follow, but turned away by ClayX. Read that one perfectly. Full boost here for Mummy Snow. What can he do with it?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Again, shut down by ARG. And give credit to him. Players coming off the ceiling, off the walls, shutting down. Solo plays, passing plays, shots. nothing that the Vikings are doing are getting through ARG right now.
I'm so impressed with the ability and the speed of ARG to read balls that are coming off the wall. They can picture the angle, put themselves in position perfectly, and they're able to win almost every challenge that we've seen so far in game number 2. Oh, rare double commit from ARG coming out there, but miss from Mummy Snow, leaves it for Maestro. And it just seems like the Vikings aren't themselves. Doesn't seem like they're the Vikings we've seen all season long.
It seems like ARG are doing a great job of shutting them down, and they're controlling a lot more of the midfield as well. Vikings really haven't had a lot of opportunity to make anything happen here, but maybe a chance here as we're coming up on a minute left now. A long clear comes out from GCR. ARG would love to have a second goal just to have that cushion in case they do make a mistake, in case Vikings do figure it out. But that's yet to be seen. The pass across, Maestro, last man back. Over to Pondex, who's got no boost. He does have a man in the middle there, but he can't find the pass, and shut down again by Clayex.
That's because Mummy Snow had no boost as well. Had to go all the way back. Didn't get it. Look at the bump to open
and then he
things
steals
up.
it. He takes it away from GCR.
No, that's not a steal. That's just solidifying the goal, absolutely. But yeah, good play from him. He deserves that goal.
Absolutely, and it's a great shot there from GCR to recognize the bump coming through and then putting it on target. It was going in. Clayex gets credit for it, and ARG build to a 2-goal lead. Now, Vikings. They have a little bit of time to work with, but they really need to score now, as they've been shut out for almost 2 games now. And ARG looking to put it away here. 25 seconds left. Shot comes through just wide. Pondex, opportunity now. Pass over to Maestro. It's wide of the net. And nothing is working for the Vikings here. And ARG's defense has just been too good, too strong.
That's it.
10 seconds left now. Vikings forced to go to another game without scoring. And backs against the wall now as ARG find themselves 2-0 over the Vikings. And what has been so far the quickest possible series, 1-goal win, or excuse me, no, 2 goals. 2 goals here.
Veloce did it last week. We got to see, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember, but they did pull off the perfect
game.
Perfect shutout, perfect series, and ARG right now, they are absolutely stomping the Vikings, haven't allowed a single goal so far in the series, and they've put the Vikings on match point, 5 shots to 2. The Vikings just cannot formulate any type of offense.
And that the 2 shot is really what solidifies my thinking about Vikings right now. Is just the offense just isn't working. They can get out of their own end. They can slow up ARG, but they just can't find the shots on target. They can't find the back of the net. And it's obvious because they've been shut out so far, but when you've watched the games, it felt like when Vikings were moving down the field, ARG was there in their face every single time, and ARG have just been relentless between these 2 games.
Yeah, and for me, it's all about that midfield control. Not only challenging the ball, but those little beautiful boost pads on the sides, those 100 boost pads. ARG has been getting almost to them every single time, and it's just perfect. Picture perfect Rocket League. They're boost starving the Vikings all over the place.
So we will find out if Vikings can get back into this series. Again, this is a team that's sitting at 2-1, ARG sitting at 3-2. Implications for this game are huge for both teams. So anyone who comes out with a win does walk away with better chances here for top 2. And we've talked about it, Veloce sitting at the top laughing at the teams here as they have to basically dance in front of them and to see who gets the second spot. And Subi,
don't mind me. I was just looking up how to win Rocket League games. I couldn't figure it out.
Well, with your skill level, you'll need it. So
absolutely.
For Vikings, though, now coming out down 2 games here in the series, how do you get back into it after ARG have just been so dominant?
Got to go fast. Got to go fast. If you want to win, you got to be able to get to the ball first. You got to be able to control that midfield. And ARG's been doing that perfectly. You got to do something to disrupt them. The right overs need to turn to down. I saw some demos opening up, but ARG just gets upset and does it right back to them, and it seems to throw them off their game.
And it seems like ARG just have this control that Vikings, I'm almost calling it right overs, Vikings don't have right now. Again, move down the field, and they have the offensive pressure, but then the shots never come, and ARG never feel that pressure on their own defensive side. So For Vikings, it really is about just putting those shots on target. It really is about being more creative when you move down the field. Something that we saw the Ride Over start to do after their first game loss was a lot more passing plays, and that was really what opened up the space, especially against a team like Xenomoon. And ARG does have similarities. You've seen it from GCR with the solo plays coming out. Mark by 8 has the ability to take over games by himself. Again, coming into this week with 77% goal participation, that has gone down between the last 2 games here. But we're about to jump into game number 3 here. And ARG looking for a clean sweep over Vikings, which would be a shock in the European rival series.
It would, and it would make things really fun, that's for sure. It would open up a ton for that top 2 spot, a lot to fight over. But right now, so much on the line for the Vikings. They do not want to drop to ARG, as that puts them in possibility of not even making top 4 realistically.
Well, that is yet to be seen here, as Vikings and ARG face off for possibly the last time here. If ARG can continue the momentum that we've seen in the last 2 games. Here's Vikings finding themselves in that corner once more. Pondex on the challenge. Nobody up here from Vikings as Mark by 8 throws it downfield.
Yeah, I love the patience from him. He saw no one was challenging him. He waited till someone pushed forward to get him out of the play and pushes the ball up forward towards the teammate. Just good, smart Rocket League right now.
2 go from Vikings, but they get a good clear. This one to midfield. Maestro's up for it. And here's GCR. Can he get a second touch? He can, and he puts it away. Another spectacle for GCR. And ARG take the lead.
GCR is insane right now. Oh my goodness. Did it game 1, does it game 2. He's just the double tap king so far.
Wow, again from GCR to start off with a bang here, and ARG in the lead. Reminiscent of game number 1. Here's GCR once more. Can he find it again? Mummy Snow forced to make a save off his own sidewall. ARG all of a sudden picking up the pace, but here comes Maestro. A free shot on target. Can he put it away? He can, and Vikings immediately respond.
Oh, they needed that so bad. Not only to bring this series back, tie up the game, but that's the first goal they've had. That does so much for their confidence, and all Maestro had to do was put that ball under the crossbar, and there we go. The reverse sweep dream is officially alive.
Well, Vikings finally do get their first goal, so that's a good start. Here's ClayX, the pass across. It actually comes off of a Viking player. Gets a little bit of speed past everyone. Here's Mark by 8. Still waiting for this ball to come back to him. He has a little bit of boost to work with. Maybe able to drop that one down, but Pondex read that one before Mark by 8 even knew the play was happening. Here's Mummy Snow. Tries to go over one. Barely gets the touch. It's GCR. Now ARG. Have an opportunity downfield. ClayX. Turned away by Pondex. And a weak shot towards the net, but given up by GCR. Dangerous here, Maestro.
Good read.
Tried to put that one wide. Had a teammate there.
Great 50-50. Mark by 8's looking for Maestro to take him out of the equation, but just misses, and Pondex swoops in. Good defense from GCR, though. Great positioning to put that shot to the side and clear things up for his team.
Pondex with a shot. ClayX to turn that one away. The follow-up's there, but another big save there from ClayX. 2 shots turned away, and we're still tied.
GCR is a madman in this series. He's getting insane highlight reel clips. He's getting highlight reel saves all over the field right now. And if I were on the Vikings, I would absolutely be looking to take him out.
Pondex forced to go back into his own corner. Things heating up here in game 3. Lots of space to work with. ClayX immediately taken out of the equation, though.
That was like a carrot on a string. He just said, Maestro, come and get it. Waits till the perfect second. Puts that ball back over his head to continue the offensive onslaught in the Vikings half.
Maestro from his own corner. Tries to follow up his touch, but he can't get to it. ClayX, not a lot of boost, but does pass it towards the box. Now Vikings on the attack.
No one in.
Looking for their first lead here in game 3. Now Pondex into his own corner. Great first touch, and a second one to force Mark by 8 to go back. Only a backflip will slow him down. Here's ClayX. Not a lot of boost to work with here. He does drop it down. ARG doing things similar to what we saw in the last 2 games of just constant pressure, constantly being in the face of Vikings, not letting them out easily. Mummy Snow can't get the touch there. A minute and a half left.
Oh no, 2 up for ARG. Open net potential for Maestro, and once again just puts it in between the dotted lines and give the Vikings the lead.
Maestro finding the back of the net once more, and Vikings get their first lead. And you said it, Subi, it comes off of another mistake from ARG, their first one also coming off of that. And Vikings might have life here in this series.
ARG trying to have a little too much fun in this game and do not give the Vikings a taste. Oh my goodness. Swings and misses all over the place, but Maestro looking to put his third in for the game, but ClayX turns that one aside.
Here's Pondex, still trying to keep the play alive. 2 rotate back for Vikings. This one's gonna pitch down and up for GCR. Is it gonna go in? No, Maestro let that one hang for a little bit longer than you think that he should have, and able to make the save. Vikings have 50 seconds to hold on to get their first lead in the series. Or excuse me, first win in the series. It's 2 go from ARG, but the clear comes through. GCR on the touch, trying to find Mark. And he puts it to the Viking corner.
He had to use a lot of boost. He thought it was going off the ceiling. Good challenge from ClayX, but Mummy Snow was waiting. Just looks like ARG's starting to push closer and closer to this net. 20 seconds to work with to find that extra goal.
ClayX goes up for this one. Did he get his flip back? No, doesn't look like it. This shot, a weak one, comes through for ARG. 10 seconds left for them to tie this one up and force an overtime. Pondex tries to get the pinch there. Rolls out to GCR. Weak shot comes through. Mark by it's there. He puts it away. We got a tie game.
Look at the heads-up play from ARG. They push their way down the field. ClayX sees a defender in net, takes him out. GCR says, Mark, why don't you tie this game up and send us into overtime?
And that's exactly what he does. 2-2 here with 4 seconds left. ARG last second heroics to get them back into it. This ball looking very close to an overtime here. Just has to touch the ground, but Vikings might have to finish it beforehand. This one gonna drop down. And we do have overtime. Vikings trying to find their first win, staying alive, and ARG fighting back.
Vikings looking to go to 3-1. ARG looking to keep their top 2 dreams alive. So much on the line for both teams. This match, this overtime means everything.
Here's ClayX coming off the ceiling. He does have a flip. The follow-up's there. ARG still has opportunity. This one given up. High above the net. Mummy Snow over to Pondex now. The transition from Vikings not there. Here comes one. It's GCR. He's up. Can he get the second touch? He tries to drop it down. It's on the line. It goes in. GCR again finds the back of the net with a beautiful play.
ARG just get on GCR's back. He gets the double tap for the 3rd time in the series. Gets the 3-0 sweep over the Vikings and keep the dream alive.
Wow, ARG, GCR, let's talk about him for a second.
Let's do it.
What a statement series from that player alone. We talk about Mark by 8 having a lot to do with the offense, but GCR started and ended this series with a bang for ARG.
Oh my goodness, you said it perfectly. Game 1. If you missed it, well, you're going to see it all over the place because that's going to be posted time and time again. That was beautiful. But how about the heads-up play to take them into overtime? If you take any player out of the equation from ARG, they do not score the goal. Every single one gets involved.
And that's really the beauty of ARG. Every single player can do something so good here. And for the Vikings, a 3-0 sweep was not what they expected coming into this series. We said it, I think all of us said it, we thought maybe a 4 or 5 game series at the bare minimum, but ARG had other plans. A 3-0 sweep over Vikings and a huge win for ARG to keep their hopes alive for top 2. We're only halfway through the European rival series, and we have a lot more to talk about and a few more games to look at. It's Right-Overs taking on Veloce. The kings of the European rival series are up next. You don't want to miss it.
The Vikings' chances of controlling their destiny is now going on to Valhalla as ARG in decisive and shocking fashion able to take down the Vikings 3-0. I knew this team was strong. We've seen them time and time again have really solid performances. They're playing above the expectations that I had. Were you shocked to see them play that well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, see, here's the thing I got about ARG, right, is that they're really good when they're playing as a team. But the Vikings, honestly, like, we expected them to come out stronger than this, and this was just not the showing that we expected out of them. And as I just said, ARG, strong as a team, but wow, that was a worthy performance.
Yeah, and the thing about the Vikings is, they've gone to Game 5 in every match they've played up until now. So while they were 2-1, they were in control of their own fate. They weren't really blowing anybody away. ARG is a team that has had its ups and downs. They had a massive high there and just obliterated the Vikings.
I really think they need to work on their offense, not being able to score until the third game, 1 minute in. They definitely need to pick that up. And their gauntlet is just beginning. They got 2 more matches for this week, so there's a lot to decide for them. Moving on to the third match of the day, though, right over as we saw them earlier on, they'll be taking on the perfect so far Veloci eSports. No small task. Skyline and Bilbo, though, past game number 1, they definitely picked things up for them.
Yeah, they did. And for the Right Overs, it was about saving their season, because if they had lost both matches today, they would have been out of top 4 contention entirely. They're still a team that, top 2 is out of the question for them, but finishing in the top 4, maintaining their spot for next season, if they stay together, the ceiling is really high for these guys.
The Right Overs in a really interesting position because, they do have that solid performance coming out of the first match of the day. But like you said, there's a ton on the line. The aspirations, RLCS, out the window. And right now, they're shooting for the top 4 spot. And when you go up against a team like Veloci eSports, like, okay, we're able to pick things up. We kind of got rocked game number 1, 5 goals. We're awake now. We've shaken off the rust. We come away with that series. We're turning around. But we're going up against a team Neil Skook looks like an absolute beast. Everyone on Veloci Esports is playing lights out Rocket League. What do you tell yourselves going into this match? Like, how do you mentally prepare for this?
You gotta really bring out your own strong points. I mean, when you're considering, you gotta play against Veloci Esports, it's gonna be a big task, no matter who you are. So at this point, you gotta be thinking, what are our strongest suits? And then we just gotta bring those to the forefront. You gotta play all out Rocket League.
Yeah, and really their strongest suits for the Right Overs, of course, being Bilbo. Bilbo is the leader of this team, and he needs to have a big day for them to be successful. He needs to have a huge day for them to beat Veloce here.
On the other side of this, Veloci Esports, this is a team whose reputation now precedes them. They've gone in and they've pretty much, had a strong showing, to say the very least, against every team that they've gone against. Has looked pretty decisive. If they somehow manage to lose to the Right Overs here, the RLCS teams that are going to be facing these promotion matchups later on, they're looking at Veloci Esports with a really sharp magnifying glass. Like, they want to try to find whatever flaws that they can. So even if Veloci Esports does somehow come away with this, Right Overs might be able to draw up that blueprint for the team that they end up facing. Like, hey, if we exploit this, these are some things that we can do in terms of their rotation. Have you ever seen Veloci Esports stumble in any fashion so far this season?
No, not really. I mean, they have had a couple of close matches, but really the day that they had 3 matches and they passed all those tests with flying colors, that was when they really cemented themselves as the best team in the European Rival Series. And it is still important, you could say that they don't have a whole lot to play for here because they've clinched a spot in the promotion tournament. But going number 1, that's hugely important because you want to start the promotion tournament against whoever goes number 8 in the RLCS. Right now, that looks like Mouse. And Flame especially knows Tigray very well, his former teammate, and it would not surprise me one bit if the boys over on that Mouse team are looking at Veloce going, oh no, that's what we've got to go through to save our spot in the RLCS?
Well, think about it as well. I mean, the 7th seed is going to be whoever loses between the Bricks and Dignitas. You do not want to be in that spot.
No.
Playing against those teams is obviously terrifying, but that's just the way it is. Somebody has to play against that top team, and Veloce are looking to just clinch their spot at the number 1 seed.
One of the interesting things about that standing is complexity gaming. It's just like this team, when they came out, they looked like they were for sure going to make it into the, in the top 2 spots, and they've just been struggling since then. But getting into this matchup, Right Overs Veloci Esports, in terms of predictions, I have a good feeling who you think is going to come out ahead on this, but who do you think is going to win?
I have Veloce in this match, and I'm going to be honest, the Right Overs did look pretty solid in their first series of the day, but I don't think they looked quite solid enough to get my prediction on this one.
V for victory, V for Veloce. They are the best team in the European Rival Series. I don't think it's all that close between them and whoever might actually be the second best team. So I think Veloce easily takes it here. I think it's a sweep.
Like Subi, I love a good underdog story. It would be incredible for the Right Overs to somehow deliver the first loss to Veloci Esports, but I just don't see that happening. Veloci Esports, they have not shown any flaws whatsoever so far this season. They're looking past the Rival Series. They're looking for the RLCS. They're playing at that level. Right Overs will somehow need to rise to that occasion. Not sure they'll be able to do it in this instance, but there's really only one way to find out. We'll be jumping in this match shortly. I want to see how they perform. The Right Overs, it would be really cool for them. Like, imagine if they did somehow manage to beat Veloci Esports. It's just like, okay, well, we might not have the best standings in the world, but we managed to take out the number 1 team, and that would shake things up because those teams like complexity. And those other squads, they would be like, okay, maybe we do have to worry about the Right Overs.
Yeah, I think for Veloce, what they have to worry about is how difficult it is to beat a team that has its back against the wall. The Right Overs, they are playing for their lives right here. They're playing for their season, try to stay in that hunt for top 4, and that's when a team is at its most dangerous. So we may very well see a whole different Right Overs team. It's possible when they were playing Xenomoon earlier that they didn't think they were going to get much of a match out of them. They were focused on this match here, and that Xenomoon match was kind of a trap game for them.
Let's see if that focus is going to pay off for them. It's going to be Veloci Esports taking on the Right Overs. With no further ado, let's get in this match.
Well, the matchup to watch here, Squid, is, of course, Flame for Veloce and still Bilbo for the Right Overs. He's not very happy with how he performed in that first match. Wonder if that'd be maybe motivation to come out big here in match number 2.
Well, I certainly hope so. Bilbo's obviously been the big stick for the Right Overs, and now it's going to be their time to shine if they can. Veloce not going to give them very much space, though.
We are underway in our 3rd match of the day. as the right overs fight for survival. Veloce for perfection, and they're off to a quick start, scoring 6 seconds in.
Well, this is a quick way to take care of business. Freaky with a great pass off the backboard, and Bilbo wanted to get a piece of it, but no chance. That one just too high, and well, starting off in the first 6 seconds is definitely a way to make a statement.
When you're up against a team that needs momentum the way the right overs do, what's the best thing to do? Take it away from them immediately. 6 seconds in, Veloce has done exactly that. Now Freaky, very comfortable on the defensive end. That's going to be the challenge for the right overs, making him uncomfortable in his own defensive zone. Niels Cook not able to get this ball out in front, and Calix will challenge to set it off to the side, at least making sure there's no easy shot for Veloce.
And they're doing a good job of keeping Veloce at bay. Other than that first goal that was scored against, they haven't really had too much trouble dealing with the opposing players so far this game. Good stuff overall, but that might not be the best play right there. Freaky breaks past Bilbo, and he will be able to save it away, but dangerous.
That was, in fact, scary for the right overs. Going down 2-0 against a team that does not allow many goals at all would be almost a death sentence, but Calix sneaks this ball through somehow.
And it was looking like it was supposed to be a pass to Bilbo, but then it just turned into a fake play. And sometimes that's the best way to get past an opponent. Freaky gave all the respect to Bilbo on that play. He realizes he's going up against the star striker. Gotta respect that redirect.
Not a mistake you usually see out of Freaky, but he did have to wait just that extra split second. Flame trying to challenge this down towards the net. And the ball popped out by Bilbo for Calix, but a little too strong for him. Flame misses out of the corner. And the ball does find its way over to the opposite side. And Veloce, they have gotten away with a couple here. It hasn't been the stellar defense that we're used to seeing out of them. This ball is going to be popped back to the right over's end. Of course, if you can score a bunch of goals like they did 6 seconds into this game, maybe you don't need to play as much defense as Calix, denied by Flame, who barely kept that out from the goal line. Another shot coming in. That's saved by Flame as well. Freaky not respawning in time. Calix gets a free shot. The right overs take the lead.
And they're doing such a good job of keeping the pressure on as well. Flame tried to get that one high and away, ended up hitting his own crossbar, and it didn't look like it was going to be that threatening, but there's Calix to put it right back in. And the right overs so far, keeping on a lot of that pressure, making passing plays as well, and overall, they're looking a lot more comfortable than they did in their first game against Xenomu.
Calix looking to drop one down. He has, but Skyline getting cold feet at the last moment did not come up. Bilbo has to retreat and makes the clear, but only as far as Niels Cook. And now Calix, that's going to be in the direction of Flame, which could be trouble as Niels Cook pass just a little too hot. Freaky coming in. Can't get this ball to the center. He will eventually for Niels Cook. Off the crossbar, Bilbo interfered just a little bit, and I think he made contact with Niels, and that was enough.
And a good push as well from the right overs, but they might get countered right here. Calix just barely able to get that one away. It's almost a double transition opportunity, but Veloce almost caught on the back foot there as they were retreating down to their own half. The right overs, again, matching pace with their opponents rather well. And it's exciting to see as well. We're past the half now. They still maintain the lead, and it seems they've been able to effectively counter any offense sent their way.
Bilbo out of the corner where it can be played by Calix if this ball ever comes down. And it is deflected away in part by the defense of Veloce. Freaky just popping one up in the corner. Made sure not to turn the ball over, but it has turned over to the right overs, at least for the moment. Skyline, another pop downfield. Freaky up first, and because of that, he beats Bilbo to the ball. Now Flame faking out one, but now on the counterattack off a huge clear from Skyline. Right overs lead is 2.
And that seems to be the entire case for this whole match so far. Veloce not giving enough respect to the right overs. They've had a couple of transitional plays, 2 of which have turned into goals now. One of them being a bit of a fake from Bilbo. Some might say, it was tactical whiff. But either way, you don't have a guy in the back end, and you're going to get scored on. The right overs have been making great use of that so far.
Skyline misses that. Bilbo to center for Calix, but Calix very wisely stays all the way back realizing they don't need another goal, but if one presents itself, they'll take it. Freaky making the save on Bilbo. Bilbo stays up though, redirects just wide off the post, and Veloce remain alive here in game one.
But not by much. I mean, we have to consider they're keeping the pressure on once again. It feels like the Red Horse have so much space, and Skyline's going to add another one to that score line. Now a 3-goal lead with just a minute left, and they're looking so strong. This is 1-2-3 passing play.
Veloce needed to press forward. It doesn't matter how many goals you give up if you can't score any of your own, so they were chasing the game to begin with, and the ball just whips around the field. Flame had no chance on the defensive end. And the Right-Overs have made a huge statement. They give up that goal 6 seconds in off the opening kickoff. And since then, outside of a few trips into the offensive end that looked a little dangerous, Veloce has had no answer for the Right-Overs.
And offensively, things feel definitely balanced in the Right-Overs' favor, but that's not to say Veloce haven't had opportunities. There's another shot from Niels Cook, but they haven't been able to put anything on target that feels particularly threatening. And we've seen the Right-Overs before, who kind of struggle on the defense once in a while, but so far it doesn't feel like that. And there's a perfect example. Calyx knew exactly what he had to do in that situation. It feels like it's been the same story all along.
You would not expect a team with Freaky and Niels Cook on it to give up 4 goals in a game. Flame gets one back with only 11 seconds left, but it would take a miracle to bring it back from here.
Maybe just a little bit of extra momentum. Niels Cook forced Bilbo off that ball with a nice bump attempt, and Flame with a favorable 50-50. Something he can't do about it sometimes, but still a valiant effort trying to make that defensive play. Overall, things just seem to be more cohesive for the Right-Overs than we've seen in a long time.
Look out. It would take a miracle, and Skyline not in the business of miracles today. He stops Flame. And the Right-Overs will take game one, but they maybe got a little bit of intel at the end of that game. They saw that maybe the bump and demo plays will work if they can make the Right-Overs feel just a little cautious on the defensive end. That could be something to keep an eye on as the series moves forward. But for now, the Right-Overs bounce back in a big way.
And, I mean, you say bounce back, and that truly is the story. I mean, that goal after 6 seconds, of course, they thought to themselves, we thought that, oh, no, is Veloce about to run away with this one like they have with just about every other series? I mean, they've got an 18-6 win to loss in terms of games, so it would have been easy to assume that they're going to easily take this one. But the Right-Overs doing a great job of making sure that they kept them at bay. And it felt like Veloce weren't necessarily on their game, but 10 shots would say otherwise. So now it becomes a question of, were the Right-Overs playing really good Rocket League on defense and offense alike, or was it Veloce letting them have too much space?
Yeah, Veloce is a team that will take a ton of shots. They didn't cash in on those opportunities. Shot count was equal. Shot quality, on the other hand, a lot of long-range balls going into the Veloce net. 2 that went from the opposite side of the field, at least one of them from Skyline in that first game. So you wonder, okay, is it a fluke? Because you take away a couple of those kind of fluky goals and you're going to overtime.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you got to look at it. Again, is it Veloce just kind of making errors, not having the back man that causes issues for them, or is it just Right-Overs realizing when those opportunities happen and trying to make use of them at the right time?
Well, flukes count in the rival series. You don't get any do-overs, so Veloce will have to start from down 0-1 in the series, and down 0-1 in game 2. Bilbo scores 3 seconds in.
You scored in first 6 seconds in the last game, and I'll have that one. Nice shot here from Bilbo as well. Seeing Freaky down there in the bottom left, and he says, well, let's just go to the upper 90 on the right-hand side, not even give you a chance.
To give you an idea of how bizarre this series has been, Freaky has been left kind of flat-footed on a few goals already, and he is usually one of the most reliable defenders in the league, and that one's going to go in from Bilbo as well. I think he got bumped by a teammate to add a little power.
Hey, sometimes you just take what you can get, and it was almost a bump there from Skyline, but either way, a wonderful flick to get that around the second player right there, and Niels completely caught off guard. He wasn't expecting to have to make a save there.
How weird is it that the best defender in this match for Veloce has been their best striker in Flame? Freaky almost got the double tap, and Niels Cook's attempt to center is sent away. Now Skyline can't fall on this ball, so Bilbo will have to retreat. He'll have all day to play this ball, opts for the boost, and now he's pressured by Niels Cook, so things get a little hairy on the defensive end. Calyx hit from pillar to post, And now it'll be Niels Cook to center again, and returning the favor is Calix, getting a bump to save the goal.
Sometimes it's important to try and make use of defensive bumps to get opponents out of your own end. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But the Right-Overs, again, with an amazingly solid defense in Veloce, seem to get shut down in every opportunity. As Skyline towards another bump from Calix, and it feels like that might be a staple of their gameplay in this series.
There are no penalties in Rocket League. Calix trying to center one off the backboard. And Niels Cook wins this challenge cleanly. He's around another, but Skyline may recover. Loose ball on the opposite side that Freaky took just a half second too long with.
And it feels like right now Veloce are actually giving a little bit more respect to the Right-Overs than maybe they actually deserve in the defensive end. Lots of plays that you wouldn't necessarily expect out of a high-level team. Easy save here for Bilbo, not going to be any trouble there. But I want to see Veloce start out some passing plays, anything of the sort to try and get it moving. Their offense has been rather lackluster so far.
Calix has plenty to work with here. Through Flame, and the lead is 3-0.
And again, no respect from Veloce. They see Calix up in the air for this one. They got a man on the backboard. They got a man in the net. Somebody's going to make the save, right? Actually, no. Not if nobody goes for it. Freaky, again, flat-footed in the net. Flame coming off the back wall. Didn't even come close to making a touch or blocking the line to the goal. Veloce's defense not exactly in prime form. And a 3-0 lead for the Right-Overs. What is going on?
Skyline pinches this ball in front and almost dunked it in. Calix denied by Freaky. The Right-Overs, their task was you have to win out the rest of the way. The problem is they had to face 6-0 Veloce. And right now it doesn't matter who that opponent is. The Right-Overs look like a much different team in week 4. Another ball centered, but nobody home. This could carry him into the net if not for the efforts of Bilbo on the back wall. Skyline over another attacker. 3-0 the lead, maybe 4, but Freaky makes the save. Quick counterattack. Flame, this is what Veloce is known for, being able to turn defense into offense. Big shot goes high and wide.
But again, no opportunity to set up any sort of passing plays. Something I really need to see out of Veloce. They've been pretty good about finding each other so far this season, but nothing doing in this series. We haven't really seen any form of assisted goal yet in this game, or in the last.
Calix centers again. Skyline makes it 4.
And I will say we haven't seen many assisted goals on the way of Veloce's offense, but in terms of the Right-Overs, they've been doing some pretty good work. Calix trying to find an open spot on the backboard, accidentally hits a defender, but no big deal. Skyline still got a beat on it, and they put it through 4-0 now for the Right-Overs. They got to have a lot of momentum in their favor. With 2 minutes, 8 seconds left, they're looking to move on to 2-0 in this series. They've got to be feeling good. What did they do to really shut down Veloce is the question I got to ask.
Flame off the backboard. Bilbo, another big clear. And Freaky cutting that off at the midfield line. That's what Veloce needs to do. They can't allow the Right-Overs onto their half of the field anymore if they want to come back in this game. That kicks out, took an unexpected hop off the corner, and Skyline adjusted nicely. Now Bilbo just putting clips on the montage at this point, but he's denied by Niels Cook. And again, the Right-Overs continue to press their advantage, and it's a huge advantage at that. Another ball off the Veloce corner. Freaky to the backboard. Nobody's there this time, but Bilbo able to climb the ladder just in time.
And again, Veloce not really with any passing plays. This is still the key. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that's what I'm really looking for. We've seen a couple of tries at a 1-2 downfield, but nothing that ends in a shot on target. That's really got to be the key for them at this point. They're going to have to reset for game number 3 because it looks like they're about to take a loss here.
Shots are pretty even once again, but it's the quality of shots, and they are no flukes in game 2. This is an outright beating that Veloce is suffering at the hands of the now 2-3, maybe soon to be 3-3 Right-Overs. Niels Cook trying to cut a tough angle, and he just can't convert. Calix beating Flame to that midfield boost, but nothing comes of it. 30 seconds remain in what has certainly been a bizarre second game, really a bizarre series to this point. Niels Cook looking to break up the shutout, but can't find a teammate. And again, the Right-Overs continue to frustrate and stifle the #1 team in the European Rival Series. Bilbo can't make it 5. And that may be the only chance to do so as Niels Cook barely makes the save with absolute zero boost. And 4-0 will be the scoreline. 8-2 is the scoreline of the series as as Right Overs continue to dominate.
And dominate they are, but dominate is really the kind of funny part of this, because I don't think anybody who's a Veloce fan out there was expecting this kind of performance. And it makes you wonder, was this a result of them saying, okay, we got the #1 spot, it's not that big a deal? That's the thing I'm looking for. Is it Veloce just getting complacent with their position and not playing as strong as they could be? Or is it a case of they're just not able to make the passing plays, they're just having an off day, or the Right Overs doing a particularly good job of shutting down passing lanes on their own defensive end? And it's a bad day to be a Veloce fan right about now, but they're not done yet. Can they make the improvements?
Well, to say this, it could have been worse for Veloce. This could have happened in week 1 or week 2 when they had 3 matches. It's happening now that they're 6-0, but you don't like to see them have this kind of a letdown going into, of course, they'll have next week off. They'll have the week after off as well before the promotion tournament. So they're going to have a long layoff one way or the other, but this is not how you want to go out. And right now, you have to give a lot of credit to the Right Overs. They are matching what Veloce brings offensively, shot for shot, even increasing their shot total over Veloce's. And the quality of shot is what's impressing me, because they're not getting cheated on any of these blasts.
And think about it as well, for Right Overs to take a win off the #1 in the league so far, and imagine if it's a sweep, everyone else after this is going to think, okay, we're playing the Right Overs, this is serious business now. And if Veloce lose here, that has implications for the playoff tournament, because RLCS teams are looking at this and they're thinking, hey, we can beat these guys easy.
How often do you see it? A team has a poor season in the rival series, and they're thinking about disbanding before the season's even over. A day like this could be huge for the Right Overs, not just as this season comes to a close, but maybe staying together for next season, because we are finally seeing the Right Overs at their peak. Skyline nudged from behind, but Veloce hasn't got a shot off it just yet, and Calyx denies any effort of a shot there. We are underway in a must-win third game for Veloce to avoid being swept, avoid their first loss of the season. As Calyx challenges Flame. Here come the Right Overs yet again. There has been no kickoff goal in Game 3, so now we'll see the long game from both teams.
And finally, a passing play. Freaky over to Niels Cook. Wasn't necessarily in the offensive end near the top of the box, but it still happened. And that's the thing I'm looking for, direct lateral passes from Veloce.
It's Freaky, giving one away to Bilbo, and he's bailed out by Niels Cook. Skyline, not exactly where he wanted to land that pass, but Bilbo hits that exactly where he was aiming. The Right Overs score first again.
And this is a huge momentum goal as well. They've already got 2 games under their belt. Now they only have 3.5 minutes where they need to hold on. That was absolutely massive. A great pop-up there from Skyline to find Bilbo. We talked about him being the star striker, and he's definitely playing his part. But overall, this Right Overs team, as a complete unit, have been playing monstrously.
With that, the Right Overs have scored 9 goals in this series. 3 from Bilbo, 3 from Calyx, 3 from Skyline, and add 4 assists to Skyline's total as well. A well-rounded effort from a team that absolutely must win this match. Calyx spun out, so he will give way to Flame, whose pass for Niels Cook is way too strong.
And again, I'm liking the pass idea. Here's another one to Niels Cook, barely saved away by Skyline, and they're clearly getting back in the right swing of things. 3 minutes left, and they're starting to get it set up. There's 3 passes in the span of just a short 30 seconds, it felt like. So Veloce definitely starting to look more threatening on the offense. As that one will drop down and in. Niels Cook has their first goal of the game to tie it.
It is their first goal since very, very late in game #1, when they added a goal that really didn't mean anything. And just great individual play by Flame, setting that up for Niels Cook to come in. Niels Cook has 2 of Veloce's 3 goals, and he will need a lot more if they're going to come back and perhaps reverse sweep the Right Overs. We got a lot of Rocket League to be played before we even start thinking about that. As Flame drops one down right onto Niels Cook, and here comes Veloce. They maybe have finally woken up as Niels Cook has his ball swatted away by Bilbo.
And I like the demo idea as well. Niels Cook trying to continue that play early on. We're just past the half, and Veloce are starting to look for outs. They're making the passing plays, which definitely benefited from Flame earlier on, and Niels Cook looking for an angle there, but couldn't find it. Still life in these Veloce players as Flame throws one into the back of the net.
Niels Cook, boy, if he had scored this, it would have been one of the best goals of the season. Instead, it sets up as he lets that ball go by for Flame to come in. And now Veloce have a lead. They have not had a lead since the opening kickoff of game 1.
And both of their goals assisted. That's what I really like to see out of these players. They work so well as a team, and they're trying to do it right here. Skyline just barely denied by the woodwork on that play. But Veloce doing such a good job. And also, I mentioned the Niels Cook demo earlier on, seeing that physical play, trying to keep the right-overs players from really boxing them out. Good idea.
Freaky throws one to the corner. It's well read by Calix. Bounce pass for Bilbo. Doesn't quite find the mark because Freaky read it like a book. A minute 30 plus as Veloce tries to force game 4. They have not been in this situation much at all this season. Freaky, big blast. That's going to be saved by Bilbo. So the defenders crisscross in the net. Now Skyline will get a clear. Officially a save. Add that to his impressive total this season. And now Skyline is not going to be able to get it around Freaky. Not a good ball at all. He turned it over, and Veloce punishes.
What a 50-50 from Flame as well. This looked pretty ridiculous. I didn't think this had any chance of going in the net at all, but it did manage to find its way through. So I guess impressive on that front. Very well done. But again, that adds another assist to the Veloce total.
And once again, it's 10 shots for Veloce. They've had plenty every game. This is going to be a kickoff goal for Skyline.
Well, sometimes it just happens that way. Fortunately, they just got that insurance goal a moment before. Bit of a whiff there from Freaky. No getting around that one, but, you know, hasn't killed you yet. There's still 66 seconds, and all you got to do is hold on. They've been looking so much stronger this game.
106 does remain in game 3. Veloce hasn't sealed the deal just yet. Said earlier, it is tough to beat a team that is desperate for a win. Right-overs are exactly that, and they are showing it here. Flame just misses wide. Loose ball at the top of the box, and Freaky will touch it home.
And good on Freaky for not quitting on this one. Flame just barely missing that redirect, wanted the right side, and Freaky gets bumped up in the air. But, you know, sometimes you just get a nice opportunity to touch the ball towards the net, regardless of whether or not you've been bumped. So good tenacity on that play. A 2-goal lead now with 50 seconds, trying to flip the scoreline from game number 1. Good stuff overall from Veloce, and we'll have to see if the right-overs start to adapt during this game, or maybe potentially during the next.
Bilbo has to cut this off. Calix needs to break rotation and turn. He does. That keeps the attack alive, but Calix needed to go for boost, and sure enough, the corner boost he was trying to steal spawned immediately after he left it. Freaky on the other side, just trying to kill off clock now with only 20 seconds remaining. Bilbo misses this ball. Nobody home defensively, but nobody there to capitalize either. There's still a chance for the right-overs, but they need to score right about now, and it's hard to do when you're getting peppered with shots, and Freaky has that one go bar down and in.
That is a tier 1 passing play. Flame over to Niels on the wall to Freaky, and that, oh my goodness. You love to see that. That is perfect. Niels Cook, he was trying to secure that goal, maybe steal it from Freaky, but didn't get it. So there you go. He wanted to add to his goal total, but relatively even effort from all of the Veloce players, and they're basically matching step for step what right-overs brought in game number 1.
And time has expired for the right-overs in game 3. It will not be a sweep one way or the other as that ball finally touches down, and Veloce have forced a 4th game, and they did so emphatically, Squid.
Yes, they did. A huge comeback in this series, and I mean, when I say huge, I mean huge, because right-overs, they were in a spot where they're just, you know, cruising through it. It's no big deal. We got 2 games. We can easily take the 3rd. Nope. That's actually what you thought you could do, but we're Veloce, and regardless of the fact that you managed to take the 2 games off of us, we're still going to be able to bring it back and give you a fight.
And now doubt starts to creep in the minds, I think, of the right-overs, because they were flying so high after those first 2 wins, especially the shutout win in game 2. to be blown out like that at the end. Granted, they were trying to do exactly what Veloce was doing in game one. Chase the game from behind, try to score, kind of throw caution into the wind, so they gave up a couple cheap ones at the end. But that scoreline doesn't look good at all if you're the right overs moving forward.
No, and Veloce looks so much stronger. I already called out that they've been making the passing plays. They got a couple of bumps in there as well. Overall, starting to look more cohesive as a unit, trying to transition the ball upfield, finding each other with touches. And the right overs, they've had a couple of issues this game. They didn't have as many bump plays from Calix. That's one thing I'm looking out for. On the same time, they haven't really been making passing plays. They haven't been quick to the ball, interrupting stuff for Veloce. So now they have some adaptations that they can make. It's a tangible effort.
We've seen Veloce win 3 games in a row plenty of times this season. Usually, it's to start the series. Now, they need to do it to close out the series to go a perfect 7-0. Neo Tokyo, the stage for game number 4 as Skyline makes the clear off the backboard, but there'll be a man down on the defensive end. Here's a shot from Flame. It's going to be high, and no follow-up opportunity following a demo on the other side. Freaky taken out of the play. That's who you want to take out if you're the right overs on the defensive end. This ball finds its way all the way downfield, and Bilbo has to play it away from Flame. Scoring first hasn't mattered a whole lot in this series. Freaky. Wide of the backboard. Now Niels Cook's shot. That's wide as well. Sets up another rebound opportunity, but good clearance from Bilbo and the right overs. And they avoid yet another attack from Veloce.
More passes coming out from Veloce as well. I told you I was going to sound like a broken record, and I continue to do exactly that. Great defense there from Flame. But the real star of the show so far has been them getting set up on offense. They're making the passing plays still. And for right overs, that's very bad news because that means that they're starting to play comfortable. They're starting to give you the respect that you deserve when it comes to the defensive end. And now you might be in some real trouble.
Bilbo finds Calix, who will try to find Skyline. He has, but Skyline's shot goes right into Freaky. Now it's Flame against Calix, one-on-one in the corner. Calix does well to avoid Flame. And Calix just throws one off to the corner, trying to get Veloce to turn the ball over again like they had in the first couple of games so often. Bilbo, full tank of boost. This could be scary for Veloce. Calix to play it forward, and Bilbo can't get there in time. All he got was Niels Cook, which doesn't matter because they still have 2 forward.
Yeah, it's a struggle for the right overs right now trying to move on to the offensive end. We've seen a couple of attempts, but none have really, gotten them anywhere. We've seen a couple of attempts. Here's another one. They drop into the corner, immediately boom straight back by Freaky. They just can't find any ground right now. Where they were playing so strongly on the offense before, they don't really have any chances to do so.
Niels Cook right out at Skyline, who I think was backwards as he hit that ball. Now Freaky gonna find Flame. Backboard for Niels Cook, and it's blocked away by Calix. Now Bilbo on the counterattack. Looking to find Calix, but Flame is there. Just barely got that ball and made sure it did not find its intended target.
And again, for the right overs, they're trying to transition downfield. But Veloce's given them more respect than they did in games 1 and 2. That was something I actually noted, was they were playing a lot of men forward. It seemed that they were always sending a third man up into an aggressive spot on the midfield line, but that's not the case anymore. Blocked out easily by Flame on that last defense, even though they had just been on a significant attack beforehand.
Bilbo thought about breaking out, instead has to turn around. He double commits with Skyline, and Freaky gives us the first goal of the game.
And that double commit is key. This left it completely open for Freaky. That's got to feel so bad as well for Skyline accidentally taking out his teammate. You got to be making those communications, and unfortunately, it's going to cost you here. Now you're down by 1. Hey, you can still afford to lose this game, but I don't think anybody wants to find themselves in a Game 5 situation against a strong-looking Veloce.
Freaky held scoreless with a bunch of assists in the first, really, 2.5 games. He's got 3 goals since. Calix has his pocket picked by the dunk master. Niels Cook doubles the lead.
And you said pickpocket. I mean, this is the most accurate way to say it. Calix thought he had plenty of time to dribble this one, and here comes the opponent straight into the lower right-hand corner. And again, the right overs kind of caught off guard with that one. They thought they were going to start making a passing play downfield, and this is where Veloce has really changed their game plan. Suddenly, they're cutting off that passing lane. They're not allowing you to move downfield, and this box is growing tighter and tighter by the second.
And another ball slammed off the back wall by Veloce. So we get down to a minute and a half remaining. And for all the offense we talked about last season with Calix and this season with Bilbo, Skyline's the only player with a shot. That registers as his 4th of the game. That's it for the Right-Overs as they remain shut out in game number 4. Skyline has this one go wide, and Flame, well ahead of Bilbo, throws that to the corner. Skyline's retreating on the play, finally comes up. His shot beats Niels Cook, but does not beat the post.
The Right-Overs, once again, their offense was their strong point in games 1 and 2, but so far, no dice. We haven't seen a single effective shot on target so far, at least none that the Veloce could not get away. Their defense has stepped up. Their offense has stepped up, and so far, Veloce is just doing such a solid job. I don't know what exactly happened in games 1 and 2, but this is not the same team, and for the Right-Overs, they're going to have to speed back up. They're going to have to take a step back and evaluate what exactly their strengths were in game number 1 for themselves, because you know, it's going to be a huge mental battle to try and come back from this.
Calix trying to salvage anything he can for the Right-Overs in game 4. He cannot. That shot's going to be wide. And Skyline just barely making a save on the follow-up effort. The only question is, will it be 2-0 or 3-0 in game number 4? Looks like 2-0, maybe 2-1 if they get one just to feel good about themselves. They do not. And the Right-Overs continue to be frustrated now by Veloce. And you look at the score lines of this series, Squid, 4-2 and 4-0 in the first couple of games for the Right-Overs, 5-2, 2-0 shutout in game 4 for Veloce. And now we go to game 5 with the Right-Overs probably having lost all confidence in their ability to beat Veloce defensively.
I think that's the real story now as we move into game number 5, is whether or not Right-Overs can, take this loss and say, okay, I still have faith that we can do this next match. It's not going to be a big issue. And see, when you're facing off against Veloce, it kind of begs the question, are you going to be able to say, okay, it's not going to be an issue, or are you going to get to the point where we have to say, okay, yeah, it's going to be an issue, but at the same time, I think we have faith in ourselves, and there's going to be a lot of a chance for them to, kind of recollect and establish what their game plan is going to be moving into game number 5. I hope that they do that because they look so strong in games 1 and 2. Bring that back, please.
Well, the theme for the Right-Overs so far today has been save our season. They need this win, and they need a win next week to even go 4-3 and have a chance at finishing in the top 4, keep their spot in the rival series for next season. But they have a daunting task ahead of them now, having lost 2 in a row to Veloce. Big Mo is on the side of the orange squad, and we are underway in our 5th and final game of this series. Calix gives up the corner boost, and he's at least able to play the ball, and that will slow Veloce down a little bit. They have been able to strike quickly and really out of nowhere throughout this series. Flame trying to throw it off to the side. No teammate was there. The shot from Skyline is high, and Calix has to retreat.
But here's the key point to take away from that. The Right-Overs had a quality opportunity there, and it was all on the back of Calix, making that bump down on the player in net. Right-Overs trying to move back into form of game number 1 and 2. Off the mark there. Flame will put it up high, but it's not in yet.
Flame misses that ball. He left it for Freaky. Niels Cook there to play janitor and clean it up.
And Veloce just dropping this one in front of the net as many times as they can. This is something we didn't see from the first couple of matches. They would put one on target and then retreat. This time they were putting shot after shot after shot on net, and finally one found its way through. The Right-Overs cannot let this get to them, though. They showed some solid signs already on the offense. They cannot let this get down on them.
Calix and Bilbo, neither called off the other, or neither did so effectively. So that double commit means Veloce can take over again on the offensive end following another kickoff. Niels Cook just there ahead of Calix, but Calix does make the block. Skyline cannot go for that corner boost, so he has to play the ball. Flame looking to stall for a teammate. Nobody came. Freaky finally gets there, and back into the corner it goes as Veloce continues to dominate the second half of this series.
One thing I'm noticing from the Raiders as well, they're trying to cut off passing lanes. They did manage to stop out one pass before it reaches target. They're going for more demos, as you see right there. And they're just overall more solid play, but it's not matching pace with Veloce quite yet. They've got to fix something else, and Niels Cook does not want them to. He's got the net.
Well, Niels Cook has come alive here. 5 goals in the series for a player who may very well be the MVP of this league when all is said and done. His contributions to this Veloce team have been monumental in their success. And now Freaky will play another ball forward for Veloce as they have everything going their way. Looking to go 7-0. Niels Cook with a stop. Flame dances around Bilbo, trying to get around Skyline, a tougher task, and he's not able to. Niels Cook to center for Freaky. Forced that ball through Bilbo, but Bilbo credited with a save. Now Bilbo beaten out by Niels Cook. Here's Flame against Calix. All Calix can do is stall for time, and he did just enough to let Skyline play it downfield. Calix now for Bilbo. Late break on that ball, can't get around on a shot.
And the Raidovers right now struggling to find any sort of offensive pressure. They've done a good job trying to get it past the midfield line. And there's a demo finally, but it's on the third man in the rotation. Not very effective if you ask me, but a great pass over to Calix will not find its way through. They're gonna want that one back, but it's only just past the half. Plenty of time for 2 goals.
Bilbo out to the side, it's coming right back in. Freaky adds another goal, and the task becomes even tougher for the Raidovers.
1/2 game is okay for 2 goals. 1/2 game for 3 goals is a little bit harder. Bilbo pre-jumping that one, expecting a tough shot or maybe a backboard pass from Freaky. What he didn't realize, he had Skyline on the backboard, and those kinds of miscommunications are what have been causing issues for the Raidovers in these last 3 games, and it's going to continue to do so. Skyline with a whiff there, and they're starting to fall apart just a little bit. Veloce closing that box once again.
The first 2 games were 8-2 in favor of the Raidovers, and since then, Veloce has outscored the Raidovers 10-2 from game 3 onward. Freaky lobs another one in that Skyline has to play to the side. Calix needs one more touch, he's got it. Bilbo at least plays the ball further. So the Raidovers can have an attack, but Freaky avoids the demo, makes the clear. That is textbook defending. It's what we're used to seeing from Freaky and from Veloce. Cool under fire, down to 1.5 minutes, and Veloce are well in control, on their way to 7-0.
Great passing play here in Veloce. You mentioned it. They are just doing everything in their power to try and keep Raidovers absolutely boxed out. Niels Cook with an easy pass over to Flame, and he's going to plant that one on target every single time. And the Raidovers, a valiant effort in the offensive zone, but their last play consisted with a lot of fast movements. And then when it came time to take the shot, and there was nobody in position to really do so effectively. It just fell to the defenders. Veloce able to easily clear it away, and I think I'm ready to call it at that point. I mean, Veloce have been looking so strong.
Mark the time of death in this series for the Raidovers. 1 minute to go in game 5. They have been held completely in check by the best team in the league. Bilbo can't drop that ball down for Skyline, who will drop it in front, and Calix's shot is wide. Skyline breaks up the shutout, and the long road back begins with 51 seconds remaining.
The long road back, they may not have time to take the entire road, though. Maybe if Veloce are starting to get a little bit complacent with their positioning in this series, but I highly doubt it, considering these players, they're going to have that mental fortitude to keep themselves out of that situation where they suddenly find themselves only up by 1.
Need luck on their side with some of these kickoffs, too. Bilbo not gonna drop that ball down, and that might have been the Raidovers' last gasp. Skyline banking another one in. More time killed off the clock. Ball going the wrong way for the underdogs. Freaky playing another one in. Niels Cook not able to deliver the dagger just yet, with only 19 seconds remaining. Skyline does not get the shot off, and that will do it. Only 10 ticks on the clock remain. Veloce is going to finish the rival series at 7-0. Watch out, RLCS. A new challenger's approaching. Time at 0. Veloce. Absolutely brilliant, and they finished the season with a bang.
That is one way to go out. I mean, making a passing play with Niels Quick and Freaky actually using that attack of opportunity to get another touch on it, pass right over to Flame, and they've been so good at making these 1, 2, 3 plays all season long, and they're doing it right here at the very end. And I commented earlier on that getting swept at the very end of the Rivals series, if you're Veloce, would not bode well, because you got the Rocket League Championship Series teams looking at that, and they're probably thinking about it. But now, with a reverse sweep, they're thinking about that instead.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to my brilliance on the desk earlier. I told you it would be a sweep, right? I said Veloce in a sweep. They won 3 in a row. That's a sweep. I didn't say reverse sweep. That's my bad. I just
Technicalities.
forgot.
I love how you remark on your brilliance on the desk.
Yeah,
of course.
I don't get
All
many.
hail.
I don't get many.
All hail, Lord
I am
Stacks.
technically correct. That is the best form of correct. And Veloce is technically undefeated, and they have really been a treat to watch all season long.
And I believe that brings their game record now to 21-8, if I'm not mistaken, which is most impressive. But I will say a commendable effort from the Right-Overs. And in fact, I will commend them for that effort, because that was brilliant. Those games 1 and 2 were saying, oh, hey, we're making a statement about this one. We're not going to let you go without a fight. And then things went downhill from there, but still, we're just going to forget about that one. If you're the Right-Overs, sure, you don't really have a chance at top 2. You're still fighting for top 4, if that. But almost taking down Veloce. Definitely something that a lot of other teams couldn't manage.
Well, we've got 2 teams coming up as we close out our broadcast here for Europe in Week 4 that are desperate for wins to even hope that there's a logjam of some kind for one of those top 2 spots. ARG will be watching. We hope you will too, as Vikings take on the Baguette Squad coming up next.
eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it.
Maybe feelings change, I can remember all the reasons why we've been separate ways. Feeling all alone in your company, keeping you captive in guilty chains.
When night and day, solar eclipses. Too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. When night and day, solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated.
The storyline that could have been. Imagine the 6-0 perfect Veloci eSports dropping to the right over as a 1-4 team gunning for a top 4 spot. Veloci eSports, they said, actually, no thanks, though. Welcome back to European Rival Series. I want to get both of those teams an alarm clock because it just seems like they don't wake up until they're halfway through the season. What adjustments do you think Veloci eSports made?
Oh, well, it's funny that you should mention that alarm clock because honestly, I feel like that's what they had. It was just after game number 2, there was like ding, ding, ding. It went off and it was like, oh, it's time to play Rocket League now. Let's go get them.
Yeah, it was, I think, Niels Cook really coming alive in that series because he was held in check, and he's really, I think, the engine that gets Veloce running, not just on the offensive end, because I think Flame technically leads, not the league, but the team in goals, but it's Niels Cook's contributions turning defense into offense that is so critical for Veloce, and he turned defense into instant offense. He had a couple challenges that went directly into the net. That's what Veloce really thrives on, and they finally got it when it mattered most.
Transition definitely seemed to be something that Right Over struggled with. They are now in a very tough spot. They're very much looking at one of those bottom 4 spots, so they might have to go through play-ins again. But moving on to the last match of the day, it's going to be ARG in a very interesting position. They are the biggest Baguette Squad fans ever going up against Vikings here for Game 4.
Well, I mean, I hope there are a lot of Big S Squad fans, and there are a lot of, as you mentioned, implications for this game. ARG, of course, they're a Big S Squad fan, and I'm a fan of ARG, so I guess by extension, that makes me a Big S Squad fan. How about you, Stax?
Well, the ARG squad are Baguette Squad fans for this very simple reason. If the Vikings lose this match, and ARG goes on to win later on today on the Rival eSports stream, ARG will clinch second place in the Rival Series. They will become the other team that joins Veloce in the promotion tournament. And what a huge turnaround that would be when GCR was in this league not very long ago, about a year and a half ago, and they went 0-7, 4-21 overall record. They couldn't buy a win, and he has turned things around in a huge way with ARG.
And the Baguette Squad is a very spicy team to
Yes.
watch because one of the most interesting and exciting matches we've had so far this season for European Rival Series was the Baguette Squad taking on ARG. So to be able to play at that level and show that they can be that caliber of a team, the Vikings have to be very concerned going into this match because their season, their hopes of making it to the top 2 spots, very much on the line here. In terms of predictions, who do you think is going to take the series?
Honestly, I said I was a Baguette Squad fan, but as the numbers go, I think that the Vikings are going to take this one. To be perfectly honest, I feel like I want to see a bit more competition for the top spots as well, so I'm going to be sticking with the Vikings on this one. I feel like they're going to be able to use their experience to get the win.
The thing about the Baguette Squad is they make a ton of saves per game. They're 5.5 almost saves per game. They take almost as many shots as they make saves. That is tough to sustain and win. I got the Vikings here, but after watching earlier today, I'm not so sure. I got the Vikings, though.
That prediction becomes a lot more shaky
Oh, yeah.
after we saw the Vikings earlier on. For me, I love the Baguette squad, but I do think the Vikings will take it just because they have so much more on the line here. They're playing for one of those top 2 spots. They have to win out and hope that ARG somehow stumbles towards the back end of the season. Baguette squad, strong team, but they're playing for top 4. So it's definitely high stakes for them, but I think Vikings, it's much more do or die. But let's find out if they're going to be able to pull it off. It's going to be the Vikings taking on the Baguette squad. Last match for Europe. Let's go.
A lot of teams have found out exactly how brutal and unforgiving the rival series schedule is. You have to be on all the time, and if you slip up once, you are in a world of trouble. That's what Vikings face now, because now they're in a must-win situation just to have a chance next week.
And that's odd to say. They've only played those 3 games, and now coming to their 4th one, again, it's a must-win situation. And personally, if you told me that the old Fnatic roster could be potentially outclassed by what is a play-in team in the rival series, I would say, oh, bosh, that's not going to happen. Suddenly, that's a very real possibility.
And now they go up against a play-in team that was the number 19 seed in the play-in bracket as the Baguette squad tries to play spoiler for the Vikings. Pondex looking for Maestro. He is the guy, Maestro, for the Vikings. He's their goal scorer alongside Mummy Snow. Maestro is also their number 1 defender. Came into this week averaging about 2 saves per game. Going up against a team that knows saves very well. Risual stopping Mummy Snow. Maestro runs into Mummy Snow and Risual shot denied by Pondex.
Right now, I'm looking to see if Pondex is going to be able to play as well as I know he can. He's an on-off player. I've seen that before. And if he's playing well, then Vikings have a lot better chances of winning this game. But Baguette squad, when they're playing as a team, they can be so powerful, especially Extra and Risual. So this is going to be an interesting game.
The move to bring Pondex in on this Vikings team, it raised a lot of eyebrows. Makes a little more sense when you go way back in kind of ancient RLCS history and realize they were teammates once upon a time. Mummy Snow was the sub on the Penta Sport team that Pondex broke into the RLCS with. Risual pops this ball up for Swoopin', and Extra runs into Mummy Snow on his way back. That'll disrupt the rotations just a little bit, maybe to the benefit of the Baguette squad, who failed to register that shot, and they are left without a shot in the first 90 seconds.
They did have to salvage that play, though. They were trying to look for a pass, got interrupted by that bump you mentioned earlier. But the good news is that they're looking for those passes because I mentioned we've seen a strong Baguette squad roster when they're trying to make connection plays.
Mummy Snow trying to pinch one around, but Swoopin's up to the challenge. And Extra does not get the second touch he's looking for. Consolation prize is the blue team's boost. So the Vikings will have to work without that corner boost. Seem to be doing just fine. Got the ball on the other side of the field, but they have to play defense, and they may turn it into offense. Pondex's challenge is going to be wide of the net, and Swoopin comes in to clear the ball away.
And still no significant offense from either team. Something I'm finding to be incredibly curious, but I suppose these are 2 very strong defensive teams. Ritual, again, with no trouble getting that one away. Pondex seems to be doing okay, and again, player to watch for me. If he's going to be playing well, I think Vikings have a much better shot at this one.
Extra, great pass for Swoopin', but his shot is way off to the side. Follow-up pass is going to be knocked away. Maestro getting in the way of Risual. But Risual gets him right back before the midfield line. Can Risual find a teammate? It's Swoopin' trying to get involved in the offense where he has not really all season long. Swoopin' to the backboard, and Maestro does not have a very good clear, but Risual can't get there in time. Maestro now looking for Pondex, instead finding the opposite team.
So much respect for their opponents that Pondex didn't really want to commit on that passing play. You could see Maestro was looking for it, but it never really had any chance because Pondex is still playing a defensive midfield. And I suppose it's good to have respect for your opponents, but eventually somebody's going to have to move downfield trying to get an aggressive passing play started up. And it just wasn't the Vikings that time around, but they have the only shots so far this match.
Maestro coming in just to keep that ball in the zone. Extra looking for Risual. Read out by Pondex. Swoopin' having a little trouble on the defensive end, has to carry this ball himself. And Mummy Snow gave him a little bit of trouble. Pondex to the back wall, nothing doing. And Swoopin' forces this ball through Pondex. Maybe a chance for the Baguette squad, trying to get their first real good look at the net. Trying to get a shot on goal. They have to defend a shot first, and Risual does just that, getting in the way of Pondex before the final minute.
Surprising to see Baguette squad, as we noted, is usually a defensively minded team. In that instance, a very close call with Risual, of course, able to save the day, but never a spot you want to be in. They finally get a shot on, but Swoopin can't put it on target.
Maestro take it out after he clears the ball downfield. Pondex shot right down Broadway, saved away by Swoopin. Maestro will try again for Pondex. Mummy Snow climbing up, and Extra's there to meet him. 30 seconds remain. Baguette squad with only 2 shots now, and they really haven't been quality shots at all. Pondex dropping one down for Maestro, looking to win the game with 18 to go, and he's denied.
And still no significant offense, in my opinion, from either one of these teams. Vikings have had a couple of shots, but nothing that's really been threatening the net. And the same goes for Baguette squad. They've had a couple of chances, but nothing too powerful. And now we're looking at potential 0-0 overtime. And I feel like this win, whoever gets this first goal, could have huge implications for game number 2.
Mummy Snow looking to be the 0 hero. Not going to happen. Extra clears it away, and we will have a scoreless 5 minutes into overtime.
And again, I feel like this is going to have huge implications for the series moving forward, and a huge win from Pondex right out the gate. The Vikings want to pick up right where they left off, and they get a shot on, but again, nothing that Extra can't handle.
Mummy Snow trying to keep this play alive. So too is Pondex. That touch won't do it. Vikings have been able to spend a lot of time on the offensive end, but now they have to play defense. They may have to defend what could be the 3rd shot for the Baguette squad. Risual, lateral pass for Extra. That's cleared away, but it's a double commit. Nobody's home. Pondex has to scramble back, as does Maestro, and Pondex pops this away. Look out on the other side. Mummy Snow wins it in OT.
And this is a nice example of what not to do on the offense. A double commit from Extra and Risual. They're such good teammates when they come together, but that instance is the exact opposite of what we wanted to see. So Vikings, who ended up double committing just a moment beforehand, ended up punishing Baguette squad, who were trying too hard to convert on that double commit. So I like the effort, and I like the aggression, but maybe tone it down just a bit next time.
Well, that was about what we expected. 2 teams that are very defensive. The Vikings do come in averaging 2 goals a game. That's near the top of the league. The problem is they are against a team in the Baguette squad that saves a significant portion of the shots they allow, even though they do let you take a lot of them.
And in that instance, I'm not going to say that they necessarily let that one in from a defensive standpoint. It was more just an overcommitment. So they kind of let that one in on offense, if that makes any sense. But as far as that's concerned, I feel like, again, nothing that Baguette squad couldn't handle on the defensive side. It's really a battle of defenses, which makes for a low-scoring match, hence the 0-0 overtime. And I feel like their offense didn't necessarily come together the way they wanted. Granted, they didn't really have too many opportunities, but they looked for a couple of passes, and they never really amounted to much.
So now going into game 2, the challenge for the Baguette squad to mount any kind of offense at all. Only a few shots on the net, while they did allow plenty of offense on the part of the Vikings.
So, yeah, and I mean, allowing a lot of offense, again, just par for the course for the Baguette squad. But again, I felt like that one goal had a lot of implications for this series. Are they going to be able to turn it around, or is it time for Vikings to just pile on the offense?
Swoopin's the player that's got to get going for the Baguette squad. Risual and Extra have been able to score on occasion, but Swoopin's the player that is near the bottom of the league in goal participation. He's not really even setting up opportunities, not getting some of those kind of rebound assists, as I like to call them, shots that create second chance opportunities that lead to goals. Extra gonna pop this one over Mummy Snow. Chance to center. Risual, it's going to be for Swoopin, but instead he'll turn away as that goes well off to the corner, and he'll take out Maestro on the play. So 2 of the Vikings end up demoed, and now a chance for Swoopin, but boy, he did not attack that ball at all, and Maestro takes it away.
And you noted how Swoopin really needs to get more involved, and I will mention that the one time we did see him get really involved, he actually had plenty of goals. If I recall correctly, the statistic was something like 4 goals in a single game. So if he can start getting set up on offense, then well, power to the Baguette squad. They're going to really hammer you with shots against. But until that happens, it's going to be a largely defensive game once again.
Mummy Snow trying to go around the boards, but he's denied by Swoopin. And now Swoopin down the field, trying to set the table for anybody, but instead his pass finds Mummy Snow. Here come the Vikings. Risual stuck in the corner, beaten out by Maestro. Can't win that challenge, but Pondex brings another ball in front. That extra has to clear away. Mummy Snow trying to get a piece of extra. That forced him to take a wide route to the ball, though, so he's out of the play. And a miss from Maestro. We don't see it often on either side of the field, but it has cost the Vikings that offensive opportunity. Maybe they'll still convert. Pondex. Oh, that's a good touch by Swoopin after Pondex almost played that by him.
Yeah, Pondex, not the greatest touch there, but you said it. I mean, Swoopin, power to you for being right on top of that ball, able to stop it down there. And Baguette Squad, once again, they are powerful on the defense, but as far as moving it down to the blue end goes, there's not much in the way of offense. So they really got to start making the passing plays happen. Extra and Ritual always trying to do that, but they keep getting blocked out by the Vikings.
Defense for the Vikings has been very strong, cutting out a lot of passes. Swoopin gonna need to set someone up here. That someone is Risual. His floater is set across by Pondex. Now it's Extra off the challenge of Swoopin. This ball dropping down in front, but harmlessly off to the side.
I love the confidence to go for that backboard touch. Now Risual to Extra. It's gonna drop down. Swoopin, does he have the read? Oh no, he doesn't. Something you absolutely have to have, and we mentioned that he needs to have more goal participation, and part of that is actually putting the shot on target. Their first open net opportunity of the game.
We call those can't miss opportunities in this world. You cannot be successful if you do not convert there. Still scoreless with 2 minutes remaining in game 2. And now the Baguette Squad has to work from scratch. Risual misses this. Swooping a shot at redemption. It's right at Maestro. Another chance for Risual. This gets in behind the defense, but Mummy Snow has it very casually away.
And finally, some continued offense from the Baguette Squad, and we saw some very tangible pressure in terms of offense, but it eventually ended up getting turned away. And it feels like they want to really keep that offense going because we saw some good stuff out of them in the final 90 seconds. Rapidly approaches. Extra is going to put that one through. Baguette Squad have their first goal of the series.
And it's Swoopin who gets the assist. They finally get one around the corner as the defense of the Vikings had finally expended all their resources. And that gives the Baguette Squad their first goal of the series. Almost 10 minutes of game time as we get into game 2. Minute 20 remains for the Vikings to get an answer. Can they give us a game with more than just one goal? As a big clear comes from Pondex, but only as far as Risual.
I'm sure Baguette Squad would like to answer that question with a yes, we can give you a game with more than one goal. Only 65 seconds left on the clock, and they've been doing a phenomenal job of getting more offense started up. That's one thing that we were discussing earlier on, is that they didn't necessarily have as much offense as we would like, and now, well, they've got 9 shots in comparison to the Vikings' 1. Granted, not all of those have been quality opportunities on target, but spending more time on the other half of the field is generally a good thing.
A team that, again, averages almost as many shots as they do saves, has a 2-0 lead in game 2.
All the way from downtown on the side wall as Extra found himself in a very nice spot off of that landing, and sometimes you just have that opportunity. And the Vikings, a little bit of a defensive breakdown, I might add. It feels like there were a couple of defenders who might have been trying to play a bit more offense. Obviously, the pressure of the situation would indicate that, you need to score a goal. Generally, the team that scores more goals wins the game as a rule, but when you're down by 1, you got to move more people downfield.
Maestro off the demo by Mummy Snow, and Pondex makes it a game again with 27 to go.
And there's a way to respond. You have that pressure against you. You just lost a goal. What are you going to do? Demo the opponents. Try and make anything happen. And, well, that went about as well as it could have. I mean, taking out the last man, literally nobody else back to challenge you. All you got to do is put it on net, which is surprisingly challenging sometimes. But at this level, I think they can manage.
Swoopin, looking to get that goal right back, or at least kill time with 20 to go. The Vikings have 2/3 way back in their own defensive end. Maestro needs to set someone up. It's not Pondex, it will be Mummy Snow. Pondex coming off the back wall, and Swoopin's there to greet him. Extra and Risual, nobody got it. Pondex to tie, and he missed it off the crossbar. And Baguette Squad steal one in game 2. Maybe This ball stays up for a moment, and they do survive. But boy, they deserve to get scored on after that sequence.
And I'm gonna give a little bit of leeway to Pondex for that shot because he was not, I can guarantee you, he probably was not expecting a double whiff from the Baguette squad defense, which we've already said multiple times is incredibly strong. They save just about everything that's thrown on their net, and when you have something that's down there in the front like that, you're not expecting a double whiff. That's the last thing you expect.
Pondex's eyes must have lit up when he saw that double whiff. Nobody could have expected he would have that kind of a look on the net when both those players went up for that ball, but he didn't convert. And again, we talked so much about how unforgiving the rival series is. That's the kind of stuff that makes the difference between, are you a promotion tournament team? Are you coming back next season at all? Do you take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves? That time the Vikings did not.
Well, I mean, here's the thing you have to consider, right, is a lot of the time you expect your opponent to make a good play. When you're playing at this level, he's obviously got experience in the RLCS. He's thinking to himself, okay, what's the opponent's going to do? I have to play 3 steps ahead, and that's really the mentality you got to have. And then when the opponent doesn't hit the ball, suddenly those 3 steps that you just planned out are trying to execute at the same time that you're thinking to yourself, whoa, hang on, now we got to rewind, and then it becomes an issue in the mind of the player. So when he's going up for that aerial, he's only kind of half with it because he's still kind of in the last play.
Instructions unclear, just smashing the ball at this point.
See ball, hit ball, guaranteed to work.
It did not work that time for the Vikings. They hit it, didn't go into the net. 2-1 the win for the Baguette squad, 1-1 the series. So we go to game 3. Mummy Snow and Extra both missed this ball, both expecting to challenge that play. Good flip on by Pondex, but that is all they get out of the play. Extra now running through Maestro, trying to get to the ball in the corner, and I think that demo slowed him down just enough that allows the Vikings to get this brilliant pass from Pondex. That's redemption.
Redemption indeed. Mummy Snow's there to give him that little bit of a finisher, 84 kilometers an hour. Not exactly too speedy, but when you know you got nobody to beat, doesn't have to be that fast. Excellent play from the Vikings all around, but this does beg the question. We saw 7 shots from the Vikings in game number 1, few from the Baguette squad in game number 1, and then it was the inverted story in game number 2. Are we going to see a repeat, or is it going to be a more balanced game?
Swoopin has that ball to the corner as we look to find out exactly what game 3 has in store for us. It has the earliest goal we've seen in this series in the first minute. Risual, good pass out in front. Swoopin could not get onto that ball as it kind of jumped around between defenders. And now Swoopin plays another one into the zone that Pondex has easily.
And again, it's all about respecting your opponent. Swoopin was not expecting it to stay in front of the net as long as it did. So for the Vikings, it actually was almost befitting to let it move across. Confused Swoopin entirely and allowed them to move out.
Pondex looking for Maestro. Instead, he finds Risual. That allows Pondex to launch another one to the backboard. That Extra can play out. Risual, as Swoopin also thought about coming up for that ball. He needs that corner boost from the Vikings end, and he takes it. But now the Baguette squad needs to play defense again. Pondex playing that to his own backboard. This is dangerous. Risual looking for a demo, looking to steal boost, leaves the ball, and the Baguette squad aren't able to take advantage. Maybe they can now. Risual, after Extra got in Mummy Snow's way, they tie the game.
And Risual earlier on looking for the demo, it kind of sparked this entire thing because they thought to themselves, all right, let's get these demo plays started up. And when we're watching that, we're also trying to analyze what's going to be the most effective play. The players are doing that as well, and they say, well, we're just going to go ahead and take all the enemies out of the play. It'll make it a lot easier to try and put it on target.
There will be no kickoff goal here as we get down to the 3-minute mark. Almost the exact halfway point of the series. Assuming it goes 5 games, which you would expect it to at this point. Pondex denied by both Extra and Risual. Now Pondex dropping another one down. Extra should have this. He does, but not a lot of pace on it, and Maestro's able to bomb it away. This is trouble. A lateral pass that Maestro almost put into the net.
Things looking pretty hairy here for the Baguette squad. They've had strong defense historically and in this series even. But right now, we've seen a couple of opportunities for Vikings that look like it's just poor defensive opportunities that cause these chances.
Pondex gratefully runs under this. Now Maestro coming off that ramp on the wall has to clear it away. He does, but Risual knocks it right back in for extra. It would have been a tough angle, and all he can do is throw it across. Good play by Pondex too, leaving that corner boost for Maestro to take, because Maestro is going to be called on the offensive end right about now as he challenges extra. Pondex thought about it. He comes up and turns around. That allows swooping downfield at the 2-minute point. But now Mummy Snow drops another in front, and Maestro, what a two-man play between these two.
This is a fantastic read in all parties involved. I mean, Mummy Snow hitting this one off the backboard with his wheels right down to Maestro, never even touched the ground. Just a fantastic play overall. Great read from both of those players to take the lead.
When the Vikings are doing that, Baguette Squad has absolutely no chance. They can stop shots. They cannot stop outstanding passing plays like we just saw there from the Vikings. Pondex stopped by Risual. Now it's Mummy Snow, denied by Extra, as Maestro can't get around on this ball. Swoopin needs to follow this play up himself. He has. Extra is going to stay on the ground, so Risual will have to take this ball, and Maestro will clear it away. Good boost management for the Vikings. They are not getting caught out of position at all. They're not getting stuck in a tricky situation on defense. They look cool, calm, and collected as they try to hold off a 2-1 lead here with a minute to go.
It does look like Baguette Squad on the other side are trying to get a little bit more offensively minded. They're getting a little bit desperate in this situation, and here's a shot on, will be easily saved. But again, we've seen plenty of passing opportunities from Baguette Squad, and they haven't been able to put them on target, which is rather concerning because that's a staple of their play.
Pondex can't center, but the ball is not played any further. Swoopin has to jump up and challenge Pondex. Extra needs to get there as well, and that touch turns things right back over to Maestro and Mummy Snow and the Vikings with 27 seconds left. Pondex, another one to the ceiling that Extra can swat away. That's over Mummy Snow. Maestro won't get there, and the game is tied.
Extra, I love this. He's going for the demo all the way. He gets this touch. As soon as Mummy Snow misses this one, he's looking at the last man back. He's saying, get over here. You are not going to make this save. I don't care what it takes, but that ball is going to go in the back of the net.
With 19 separating us from another overtime. Is there another late heroic goal? No. Extra with the save. And now another shot in. On the rebound, Pondex is denied. Extra and Risual combine to clear this away. They may have even had a chance at 0, but no real control on the side, and golden goal territory yet again.
A completely even scoreline and a completely even for shots as well. I was speculating earlier on about whether or not we'd have a more evenly balanced game, and it appears that is the case. There's no telling what's going to happen right now.
Mummy Snow on an empty net as the Baguette Squad are beaten by Mummy again with nobody home.
This demo on Extra really made the entire play come together, and well, it's sad. That's a sad way to lose if you're Baguette Squad, but for the Vikings, that's just the way you do it. I said not even 15 seconds ago that we can't know what's going to happen, and well, I feel kind of foolish now. I'm not going to lie.
Mummy had the first goal of this series. It was an overtime winner. He has the most recent goal, another OT winner, and the Vikings hanging on by any means necessary at this point, trying to keep their hopes alive for top 2, because after what we've seen earlier today, it is a 2-horse race between ARG and the Vikings.
And for Baguette Squad right now, you might start moving into a little bit more panic mode. These players don't have the experience that the Vikings do at this level of play. So for the Vikings, they're not having that much of an issue. They're thinking that it's going to be okay. Their mentality's still in a good spot. But the Baguette Squad might be looking at this in a different light. The mentality is going to be a little bit more on the panic side than on the level head, which we've seen plenty of times. I mean, you got Maestro on that team. Of course, he's going to be able to stay cool about this.
Yeah, this is a very, very much a veteran Vikings team that is up against a team in the Baguette Squad that they've never been in this situation before. They've never been in the rival series. Granted, we know how good French Rocket League players are. You look at the leaderboard, they are littered with French players in the top 10, including some of the players here in the rival series between the Baguette Squad and Xenomoon, of course talking about Monkey Moon. But now they need to call on every bit of experience that they've gathered up to this point if they want to play spoiler for the Vikings, if they want to have a chance perhaps at the top 4 and a winning record. Mummy Snow missing off the crossbar, and that is a rather inauspicious start to game number 4 for the Vikings. They have an opportunity that you have to convert, and they did not.
Luckily for them, though, that didn't cost them the game, at least not yet. We're like 20 seconds in, and they've already got pressure against the Baguette Squad, who probably could have afforded a little bit more last game. So that's going to be a nice little confidence booster for the very start.
Extra to the side, looking for Risual. He found him, but the shot's high and sent away by Mummy Snow. Now Mummy Snow running right through Swoopin'. That leaves Extra and Risual. They are the 2 major defenders on this Baguette Squad team. And they're able to stave off the attack for now. Mummy Snow again, met by Extra. Ball goes through. Mummy not able to center. And Swoopin' runs into Mummy Snow, so that physical defense is enough for the Vikings.
And Baguette Squad are going to try and struggle to get any sort of offense moving at all. Vikings did a wonderful job in the last match of trying to keep them at bay. Of course, they did almost match them for shots entirely during that last game, but it felt a lot more in the Vikings' control than the Baguette Squad would have liked to have.
Mummy Snow, big drive. Maybe the hardest shot we've seen in the last couple of games. It is saved away by the Baguette Squad. Risual trying to turn that defense into offense. Mummy Snow has other plans, looking for another clutch goal, but it's not coming just yet. Pondex will have a look. He's gonna shoot one right down the middle. Swoopin' and Extra combined to fend it off.
And it seems like Baguette Squad are starting to get a little bit low on boost right about now. Swoopin' has to dive for that one, but no luck. Maestro will read it off the backboard, and they have the lead.
And this is great for Maestro. Finally realizing, look, they might have this clear, but I'm just gonna go up and pretend they don't. And this time, that pays off for the Vikings. And I think that could make for a long end to this game for the Baguette Squad.
It's gonna be a soul crusher for sure, and Vikings currently have a 4-0 shot advantage as well. With 2 minutes gone, it's gonna be a long road back if they do get on it.
Extra, looking for an indirect pass. It found its way to Swoop it eventually. Certainly not the way that was intended. Risual, Extra thought about it. He'll have to go back as Maestro shots denied by Risual. Only Pondex is back. It's numbers the other way for the Baguette Squad, and they convert.
That was an excellent mid-air flick from Extra, and I was actually talking about this a little bit earlier on before I was even on the broadcast, how important that these are. Look at the wonderful control on the ball right there, just barely getting underneath it, saving that flick to get it under the crossbar. Mastercraft 1v1 play.
Is this the last game of the day? Not if the Baguette Squad has anything to say about it. They have tied up game 4. Risual will let that go for Extra. Looking to center. No, it's a shot, and it's in from Risual.
Huge read from Risual right here, and the pass from Extra just makes the classic combo come out to the forefront. This is such a good angle coming off of the corner behind him, and he's still able to put it on target. This is the accuracy they need with their passes in the last couple of games.
I love watching Pondex on that play. He is on his way to the corner, expecting that ball to go around the corner like every other attack has for the Baguette Squad, and all of a sudden, it's a shot that goes right over his head, and he just stops and
knew.
looks at it like, oh,
I'm doomed.
oops.
This is it.
2-1, the lead for the Baguette Squad. They could add to this lead. They will. A bouncer from Risual.
This is such a tough spot for Pondex to be in. Again, finding himself out of position on the defense. That one goes off the backboard. He knows he has to get up for it. But at the same time, he also knows that there's no way he's going to be able to get in the way of that ball before it gets to the backboard or after. Makes it completely open. Baguette Squad now popping off a little bit.
7 goals for the Baguette Squad in this series. They are actually outscoring the Vikings, oddly enough, thanks in large part to what we're seeing here from especially Extra. He's got 4 of them for the Frenchman. Risual hopping one up, and Extra can't get this around Pondex. Mummy Snow looking for Maestro. But his teammate is going to have to retreat and play this ball away. And he can't follow that play because Rizwal took him out. So now Extra lobbing one in. Tough angle for Swoopin, and no second chance opportunity. Great save by Maestro.
No second chance, but the fact that he got a single one in the first place is all thanks to Rizwal doing plenty of work in the physical aspect, trying to get the defenders out of the way, and the Get Squad looking much more comfortable with a lead than they ever have with a deficit. So it honestly begs the question, are they going to be able to keep a level head moving into the next match if they have the momentum from the win of this match? Of course, it's not over yet. Vikings could still come back, but the way that the Get Squad have started looking the second half, I doubt it. Another shot from Rizwal, but the defense was there.
1 minute remains and another chance for Extra. That is swatted away by the defense of the Vikings. They're just hanging on, trying to hold on to a chance to close this series out. They need to get downfield. 45 seconds remain. Extra with another one to the back wall. Game 5 looking more and more likely as the Baguette Squad are not letting the Vikings onto the other half of the field at all. Extra looking for Rizwal. This will drop down, but Rizwal was up just a little too far, so Swoopin comes up. And again, the Vikings are stuck in their own end. Finally cleared away, but Pondex can't chase it. Extra got in his way. 17 seconds remain. Finally, the Vikings are on the right half of the field. Everybody misses this ball. Rizwal's big drive is saved by Mummy Snow, but it may not matter. Pondex needs to score here. He does not, and we will have a fifth and final game as ARG watches on, hoping they've got a chance to clinch top 2 when all is said and done.
And we were discussing earlier how the Right-Overs, well, you in particular were discussing how the Right-Overs in their second match of the day would really fight for their lives when they were playing against Veloce, and they certainly did. And I feel like that's being reflected right now in this series. Baguette Squad truly bringing out all the fight that they have left in order to try and keep their hopes of a top 4 finish alive against the Vikings right now. They were in their potential losing match of this series, and they didn't really have an issue playing that one. They seemed like they were playing pretty well.
Imagine what happens if the Baguette Squad beats the Vikings here. Imagine
Chaos.
You've got now, and then if ARG loses later on against Xenomoon over on the Rival Esports stream, all of a sudden you've got a bunch of teams sitting on 3 losses going into the final week, which could be insane. We're only 1 game away from taking 1 step closer to, as you mentioned, utter chaos in the Rival Series.
Well, I mean, chaos is better than, I guess, just having a complete split, I suppose. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes, this is the thing, and we were talking about this before, actually. It's a lot of math to have, like, a bunch of close standings, but at the same time, it's a lot more exciting. So, give and take.
Yeah. You want a breakdown of all the playoff scenarios that would be in
Talk to
play
him.
if
Oh my
the
goodness.
Baguette Squad wins this series, especially if ARG loses? I don't know.
I don't know.
Throw your hands in the air and say, all right, we'll just flip a coin on every match, because that's exactly what we've been looking at for the past 3 weeks. Seen some crazy results, and it would only be fitting if the Rival Series came down to a massive cluster at the end. But there's still some business to take care of. We talk like the Vikings have already lost this series. They are far from losing. Game 5. Extra to center, and Mummy Snow has it away at least once. Rizwal needs to drop this down. He has, and Mummy Snow recovers.
Great touch and a great save from Mummy Snow. Obviously, again, 2 defensively stronghold kind of teams. A great angle from Rizwal, and we want to see that striking potential come out for the Baguette Squad. They were so strong in the second half of the last match. They're going to look and try and push that forward.
Mummy Snow looking for Pondex. Pondex just takes the shot, and it is just wide off the post. The challenge from Mummy Snow goes wide. And now it'll be Swoopin, having his pass intercepted. Maestro, a little side flip, and Pondex there to recover, but only barely for the Vikings.
That backflip from Maestro almost doomed the entire play. Moving down the other way, Pondex was only barely able to get back in time. So the Vikings playing a little bit aggressive at the midfield line, but at the same time, was expecting Maestro to make the play. The Baguette Squad would happily play plenty of offense this game. Honestly, the first goal scored in this match might have some huge implications for the rest of the game.
Maestro's drive is right in the heart of the net, and the Vikings strike first.
Notoriously strong Baguette Squad defense, nowhere to be found on this play. He finds a wonderful gap And an excellent effort from Extra. Of course, I have to commend him for that one, but when you're playing against Maestro, you don't have too many options when it comes to defense. Baguette Squad do have 5 shots on target, but the quality of offense seems kind of low. Another save from Maestro off the shot from Risual. A follow-up from Swoopin won't quite be on. Oh, I take that back. He was looking for the backboard all along.
You know what they do to players that miss double touches in the RLCS and Rival Series, and Swoopin makes absolutely sure of it through traffic. No problem. Tie game. And the Vikings, who have gone to 5 games in all but one of their matches, are finding yet another tough test against the Baguette Squad.
And that's got to be terrifying on the goal line. If you're a defender, you see Swoop and hit that one straight towards the backboard. He's moving exactly parallel to the ball, and you know that you're doomed.
Maestro over the defense of Extra. He is taken out on the play, so someone else has to follow it up, and nobody can. Maestro to Pondex, back to Maestro. Mummy Snow will have to come up. His shot's gonna be high, and the follow-up is cleared away. Pondex did not go get that corner boost. Looked like he was torn between boost and ball. He will play the ball, but Baguette Squad is coming right back on offense. It is Swoopin, beaten out by Mummy Snow. Pondex will not join this play for 3 seconds. Neither will Risual, neither will Mummy Snow, neither will Maestro. Extra will have a pass. Over towards Risual, his shot is wide, and Swoopin can't get around on a follow-up.
Lots of confusion following the demo plays, and it looks like they might still be going on, but eventually Baguette Squad came away with the shot, weren't able to put it on target. I have to say, this is probably the most competitive first half of a game that I've seen in a long time in the Rocket League scene, and now looking for a demo again. It's not quite open. Pondex will close the gap. It's really kind of a toss-up right now. Who has the most offensive pressure, because the ball just keeps going back and forth.
Risual against Mummy Snow. Mummy Snow wins that challenge. Vikings looking for their second goal. They have only won in overtime in this series. Games 1 and 3. So another ball goes across the face of the goal harmlessly. Maestro for Pondex, and Swoopin read the play brilliantly. Boy, he has come alive in the later stages of this series. It's still a bit sporadic for Swoopin, but he has been as big a part of this as anybody on the Baguette Squad.
There's got to be so much adrenaline for every single player on the field right now. Vikings, so much pressure to try and win this game, but same goes for Baguette Squad, and now there's only 80 seconds left on the clock. All of these players have to be feeling some sort of emotion.
The Baguette Squad trying to stay alive for a lot in postseason play here, and Risual just able to clear that away. Pondex is at the goal line, and another ball saved by Swoopin. Interference from Mummy Snow gives Maestro a clean look.
And that interference is absolutely key. A great force from Pondex right there. Maestro bides his time. He knows what's happening there in the net. Mummy Snow is doing all he can to take out that defender. And Baguette Squad has such solid defense, and it showed on that aerial, but they knew that they could take it out easily. 61 seconds for Baguette Squad to score one more goal.
Maestro cannot get past Risual. Pondex taken away by Risual again. This time Pondex gets the touch ahead of Risual just because he blocked his car. Maestro denied by Pondex. Here's Risual downfield. He thought about it, but that ball was nowhere near him. 35 seconds remain. Swoopin will not get the game tying assist there. Shot just wide. Risual might have got a piece with 25 to go. And Extra will find a teammate downfield, and another ball cleared by Maestro. Vikings very much in the shell. Swoopin shot saved by Pondex.
So key to be able to make those shots even with all these nerves on. Final 10 seconds now. Baguette Squad absolutely have to score right here.
Can't afford any mistakes on either side. Swoopin for Risual. Well read by Maestro. Has he composed a clutch win? Yes, he has. And Maestro secures the game and the series for the Vikings.
So much confidence here from Maestro. He could have just let that ball drop at any time, but he had faith in his teammates, and they managed to get the win right here. Excellent showing from Baguette Squad, but they didn't quite get the win. And the standings won't be crazy for next week, but that's just the way it goes.
Oh, they still very well could be, at least as far as ARG and the Vikings are concerned, but the Vikings took care of business so far. They still have one more match. a match that they still have to win, else ARG could still clinch a top 2 spot. Oddly enough, the team that we haven't seen in 2 weeks, Xenomoon, holds all the keys.
And it's weird to say that as well. I mean, Xenomoon, of course, 0-3 now, but it's still kind of a wild card. Nobody really knows what to think about that one. And for Baguette Squad now, top 4 might be a bit more of a challenge, but I have to say, I've got a significant amount of faith in them to do well. They've had such strong showings, and you wouldn't think that they're a 19 seed from the plane.
As we welcome back Lauren, of course, Lauren, in typical rival series form, especially the way this season's been in both the RLCS and rival series, the most important team of the league hasn't won a match yet.
What better way to round out another solid day? I love these Game 5 scenarios. Everything's on the line. For the Vikings, bend but don't break. They had some very strong competition in the Baguette Squad who took the fight to them early and often. Swoopin was headhunting actively, especially in that last game, but they managed to hang on and keep their dreams of securing that top 2 spot alive. I love seeing that kind of play out of the Vikings.
Every single time. The Vikings, I predicted for them, but again, I gotta commend Baguette Squad. They came out so strong, and they're outperforming what anybody could have really realistically expected out of them.
And I think even though they beat ARG in week 1, and it was a great series for them, 3-1, I think this is maybe one of the best series we've seen from the Baguette Squad. And it isn't a losing effort, but boy, they gave the Vikings all they could ask for and then some. They never went away. Even at the end, they still had a couple great opportunities to force another overtime. They give up that goal at the end. Maestro, as much as we want to talk about the Baguette Squad, Maestro has had a lot of praise from people saying he's RLCS caliber. I think he showed it right there. That is what everybody's talking about when they talk about how good Maestro is.
He rounded out the series with an exclamation point.
Yes.
It's like 0 seconds. I guess we'll go ahead and get another goal here. But I think that match also speaks to the overall level of play that we've seen out of Europe as a whole. We got the Baguette Squad. This is a team that's looking at a bottom 4 finish towards the back end of the season, taking on a huge challenge in the Vikings and almost coming out ahead. And even earlier today, Veloci eSports goes to Game 5 against a team that's also looking at the bottom 4. So when you have these close games against these teams that are on opposite ends of the overall bracket and standings, it really does come down to like a toss of the coin. And on the in the middle there, I'm still curious to see how complexity is going to shape up in all this. They were so impressive at the beginning of the season. They start to stumble. They find themselves in 4th place now. ARG, Vikings, they're gunning for those top 2 spots, but there's still a lot left to be decided for these teams.
I'm looking at this. We got 4 teams there, right there. The 4 through 7 places, those records are not so different. So although the Vikings didn't lose this match, there's still a lot to be decided.
Yeah, and what you take away from this is, again, everything 4 through 8, they're out of top 2 contention now because ARG, the Vikings, those are the teams that they have the best chance to finish 5-2. I think that's going to be the line. The question is which team is going to get there. After that, you've got that dogfight for 3rd and 4th place to keep your spot for next season. If Xenomoon has a big finish to the day over on the Rival Esports stream, first of all, they'll throw all of that you see on your screen right now into complete chaos, and they'll put themselves in position, maybe, if I look at it, possibly for a top 2 spot. If everybody else finishes 4 and 3, it would come down to game differential.
You know, I call North America the Wild West, but Europe's like, hold my baguette, because the last couple of weeks are absolutely insane. Let's take a look at the North America schedule, though. There's going to be a lot more action later on. Birds and the Bees, they're trying to do their Veloci eSports impersonation and keep that perfect streak going. 4-0 so far. They're going to have quite the road ahead of them, no doubt, because Upper 90 eSports, they're 1-4, but I do think that could be an upset.
Oh, that definitely could. I mean, I was taking notes earlier, and I thought to myself, Upper 90 versus B&B, that's going to be a throwaway match, isn't it? And then, after I dwelled on it, honestly, no. Upper 90 have showed some promise playing against the high-level teams. What I'm really looking at is the Peeps doubleheader. I know he's on the same boat as I am, because we are excited to see if the Peeps...
by the way.
Peeps fan, by the way.
I'm completely unbiased
Completely.
here on the desk.
No.
Completely.
No bias
Go
here.
Peeps.
Another historic week 4 here for European Rival Series. So much action. There's more to be had in an hour over on twitch.tv/Rival Esports. You definitely want to see how the Vikings end their gauntlet run for week number 4. But we'll see you later on. 3 p.m. Pacific North America Rival Series continues. We'll see you then.
Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want. We can make it as real. Maybe we will. Though. Give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. We can start again. We can start it.
She found a way into my heart. Oh, oh, she don't make up, no, she make art. And I need a way to treat it, 'cause I keep getting high off of her. Off of her. I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you. But somehow I keep running back to you. Back to you. Back to long nights can get me feeling lonely. Hey. And hearing music that can make me smile. But the way I feel with her cannot be explained. But one thing still remains on my mind. I know that you'd be back.